friends, can I add all of you on the WhatsApp?
WhatsApp?
My friend, I am just wanting to add the three of you. All right, Smitty, where you at?
Well, that was easier than expected.
What gun do you
White
have?
man got out of there as
Let
quickly
me-
as possible.
Let me see
That's
your
a
knee.
fucking sniper
Let me
rifle.
see your kneecap.
That's a fucking sniper rifle.
Give me the kneecap, Dort. Oh fuck! I shot. Who did I shoot?
You just so conveniently shot me.
Oh my and. What the?
Misfire.
So I
misfire.
shot McNasty and then Smitty fucking blew me up. Tim, you see what money does? My friend, fix my dookie stain. My friend, fix my dookie stain.
What the fuck?
We can literally just watch people be retarded for like hours.
I mean,
They'll probably-
that's Soup's content, is to watch people be stupid and laugh at them. So,
True.
Yeah.
tradition.
Oh yeah, right. We got a show. Sorry.
This is a warning to all living mortals. That who shall ever open this chest of demons will release 13 of the most terrifying ghosts upon the face of the earth. Okay, cut it. This isn't going to work. Let's try some nostalgia bait.
It's mighty strange. You looking at the leafy rain. I can't tell if you're in bed, or have you picked your target yet? It's ended. Got your dog bite. It's ended.
Okay, that was better. But let's try something a bit more cinematic.
Hey, where my broken arrows at? They try to tell us we can't fly. Like we too broken or something. I mean, I'd rather let them know. Balls up. Hold up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. Hold up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Hold up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. Hold up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. All the way up. Get them balls 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 all the way up. Broken arrows get bows up. Sometimes I pray with my nose up. Thinking about when the world crumbles and my whole squad just goes up. Ain't gotta worry, we straight like an arrow, yeah. Ain't gotta worry about fame, nope. I'm on that straight and the narrow, yeah. I just go straight like an arrow, yeah.
Yeah, that's the shit I like. Let's start the Barroom podcast. Take it away, Jacob.
What up? What up, ladies and gentlemen? We're back here once again for episode 156 of the Ballroom Podcast, and I got a lovely cast of people joining us here today. Very, very lovely. Let's start with the loveliest of them all, Mr. Eddie Brock. How you doing tonight?
Other than holding in my feelings for what's going on in the world, I'm doing absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the world. It's a pretty interesting time.
Well, I'm not going to interrupt a great show like tonight in order to expound my beliefs on what's going on. So, everyone, I'm just going to have a good time, and I hope we all have a great time tonight.
Just accept the world is ran by satanic pedophiles, and then just let it go. I kind of came to this realization a few years ago, so it makes it a little bit easier. We're only like 5 minutes into the show, by the way, so this is definitely not getting monetized.
I don't know.
Not even.
Rob, how's it going there, buddy?
Oh, pretty good. I choose to ignore all the things going on in the world and like to focus on stupid, petty internet arguments like how terrible the new Superman movie is or how great F1 was. I mean, so yeah, I'm pretty happy right now. I'm working out, so that's helping. I got a lot more energy and I feel really good. But yeah, I've just been sitting on my ass for the last 3 years, so it's like just time to kind of start taking care of yourself. You're 36, so but yeah, things are pretty good, even though the world's falling apart.
Yep, someone who isn't falling apart yet is a good buddy, TW Booty Hunter. How's it going?
It's going all right. Yeah, kind of questioning if I should just like reboot my channel or not. Been kind of dealing with that. That's why I hadn't made any content, but yeah.
Focus on the direction and hone in on it. Like I said, I know you're between the gaming and the wrestling thing. I don't know which one would be more profitable at this point because, like I said, they seem like they're both kind of in rough patches at the moment.
Oh, I know, right?
And cider.
Drugs.
That's how you really cope with the world.
I don't have a problem, man. I don't have a problem.
I didn't say you did there, buddy. I just said that.
I don't have a problem.
I just said hi.
You want to go? You want to go? Right here in front of Eddie? He's innocent.
I am totally innocent.
Yep.
Just like a certain binder full of kids. Just
totally isn't. Isn't there a woman who's like in jail right now for over that binder?
Nothing.
Wasn't that?
Or nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Practicing her First Amendment. That's what it was.
Yeah. It kind of makes you wonder, like, why did he even kill himself to begin with if there was literally no evidence that he did anything wrong? Like, he could have just waited it out. He could have just did what Diddy did. Like,
yeah.
What amazes me is that we have 90s era security systems monitoring at these supermax federal penitentiaries. It kind of blows my mind that we're capturing all this information on fucking VHS still. What?
Didn't they tell us like several years ago that the footage didn't even exist? And now all of a sudden
the cameras malfunction. Oh wait, here's 10 hours, and they're missing. They're all missing a minute because the security systems of all the federal facilities were established in the 90s and nobody updated them because it's just a supermax prison, guys. We don't need to keep the security system up to date. Where are they gonna go?
I mean, look, part of me looks at it like this. I can't be too mad at like the dodos in charge, like, you know, the Indian guy with the wonky eye and then like the Pam Bondi chick, because in reality, if we are talking about what we're really talking about here, like what do you really expect them to do? It's like they're either going to go with the flow or they're going to end up in a mysterious, you know, car accident with 2 bullets in the back of their head. That's just the way that it works.
You don't put people with families in charge of the intelligence agencies. If you have a wife or children, parents that are alive, or brothers, you cannot hold those positions. Thus, there is no threat that can ever be levied against you.
You need a wild man with no contact to his family and absolutely nothing to lose.
A 4chan user.
We need the Expendables.
Yeah, but you had somebody like George H.W. Bush running the CIA, you know, and I just, you know, it's like, how are you talking about people that are in the intelligence agencies? Because it's like you have people that have run it that may, I guess, are just immoral, or you know what I mean. Do what they do.
Put it to you this way: the only time you see the FBI or the CIA portrayed in a positive light is when you're watching movies and television shows, and that's because those shows are working with the FBI and the CIA. Do you kind of see a connection there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
So just throwing that out there. But let's go ahead and shoot it over to you guys over here in the chat. We're live on all 3 platforms. We're here on Rumble and YouTube and X and all that good stuff. Neozoic's here, and he has a question for us. He says, I guess, which action star's filmography would you rather watch? Schwarzenegger, Stallone, or Willis? Who has the better filmography? I honestly still have to go with Schwarzenegger, even though, obviously, I don't really care much for the screw your freedoms, like all that whole thing. But, I mean, objectively, I think his catalog's a little bit better. Eddie, what do you think? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. Oh, yeah, I'd say you're like Stallone or Schwarzenegger?
The problem is, guys, really, Schwarzenegger's the one that either had an agent that really liked funny, dumb shit, or Arnie himself liked funny, dumb shit. So he did a lot of funny, dumb shit movies. And Stallone and Bruce Willis were just too cool to do that until they were old men. So
Yeah,
True.
Stallone did a few of them, but they were not good. Like none of them landed. Like Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? He
I forgot
tried,
about
but it was after the fact. And here's the thing. The studios didn't want Schwarzenegger to do things like Twins. They're like, what are you, fucking crazy? We're making so much money with you blowing people up. Why would we ever risk putting you in a comedy? We don't want to see that. We just
And
want
it
to
was
keep
great.
money. So he put up his own money. Like he took less money, him and DeVito and Ivan Reitman, the director. And so like some of those movies, like the silly movies, like Kindergarten Cop, which is kind of both a little bit. Like I like some of, like I really like Twins. And I just say Schwarzenegger just because in pure entertainment value, I mean, it's hard to beat Conan, Commando, like I said, Kindergarten Cop, Total Recall. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many movies that are a really good time. That's really hard to kind of be like, you know, unless you just really love Sylvester Stallone.
Well, and that's just it. You know, Stallone and Willis just didn't engage with that silly, weird shit. They stayed with the I am the action man and I do the action.
Right.
And I think it would have been hilarious to see Stallone in the in a comedy movie from the 90s where he's like in the kindergarten cop situation.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been great. Bruce Willis having to run a culinary class in the 80s at a vocational school for roughed up kids. That would have been awesome. Bruce Willis trying to keep track of all these criminal kids while they're making cakes, you know? Great.
Well, for what it is, Bruce Willis has a musical degree had a jazz degree or whatever, a jazz career during the 80s and everything. He's a music man and everything. So he has like flamboyancy to him.
In the Japanese commercials, he's a completely different guy. You go watch Volvo commercials in Japan in the mid 90s. He's like the Matrix man, and he's dancing around. Did he play guitar in one of them?
The Japanese do that. The Japanese do that just because they love geishas so much. They turn everybody camp. I have to say, Bruce.
My favorite Stallone appearance ever, and I put this in contest with Rocky, is when Stallone is selling sausages in Japan. Because for whatever reason, Sylvester Stallone can go nowhere in Japan where if he holds up a package of sausages, school children swarm him like rabid dogs. That's it. It's hilarious. He's completely alone in a park, and as soon as he pulls out a package of just cold pocket sausage, there's no refrigerator and no frying pan, and the kids just surround him trying to grab it.
Those people need to be arrested.
And I do want to point out, Bruce Willis actually started with comedy, kind of with Blind Date and Moonlighting, that TV show that he was in with I think it was Candice Bergen. Maybe I'm fucking up the actress, but so like his start was kind of being a bit goofy, and then he became an action star. I actually think it's kind of an amazing transformation to see that happen. But yeah, I mean, I think he was fine, but I was never a big Die Hard fan, so that's kind of a non-starter for me.
Well, I think out of all three of them, I think I probably would pick Bruce Willis just because he has such more of an eclectic career. His movies are much more different than all the others. But the other two,
I love Last Man Standing.
Yeah, I watched Whole 9 Yards. Yes, last week. Fantastic movie, and he is funny in it. And then you throw in
Matthew Perry.
And then you throw in Pulp Fiction. I mean, this guy, he has a nice eclectic career where if you have a weekend, I'd much rather sit down and watch Bruce Willis movies because I'm going to get a nice peddling of different genres. I love 12 Monkeys.
Yeah. What in the world? We'll get to that one here in a second. I don't know where the hell that came from. I think his other bonus question here from Neozoic is that favorite car chase scene from any car chase movie. Like, do you understand like how many car chase scenes in movies we've seen?
Oh yeah, exactly. It'd be impossible for me to say one.
It was the one where the car was flying through the air and then it hit the ground and sparks shot out of it.
I like the car chase scene when he was like standing on the roof of the car and then he jumped off the car and started shooting at the bad guys.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Have it.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say, like Vanishing Point is really good. The French Connection, Against All Odds, which is a weird movie to name because it's not a great movie at all. But there's this amazing, I think it's Ferrari and a Porsche. Is James Woods racing Jeff Bridges? That is a fun ass chase scene. In Against All Odds came out in 1984, which is a remake of Out of the Past. But yeah, I would throw those on the table.
So there's a movie called Space Mutiny. And in that movie,
Oh my
there are
God,
two
no.
men who
Oh,
chase
God.
each other in room scrubbers and floor scrubbers. And they're portrayed as high-tech battle cart things, and they're going like 5 miles an hour. The movie does not speed up the footage. They're 5 miles an hour, and they're like shooting at each other, but they're behaving like they're doing 80.
Like it's Tron.
And it's like they're leaning into the turns, okay, guys? So that is my favorite because the people who are acting are having a way better time than the audience watching it. So
Oh my God, Space Mutiny.
I just love stupid movies, okay, guys? I love dumb, awful movies. Barbarella's my favorite movie ever. It is dumb, it is stupid, it is not something you should show your family, but I love it.
Another guy here. We got Kurt here over here, or Keith over here on our Rumble side of things. Leslie Tarkin's here tonight as well, and she's definitely going with Stallone. Top Dog is here as well. We have Lisa Dawn joining us here tonight. Top Dog asks, I guess, for the three of us that actually watch wrestling, a question: who was the best year? 97. Is there any other arguments to that point?
No, not really.
I don't even know.
I guess maybe 98.
87.
99.
87.
What was the one where the British defeated the guys?
I
Talking about
That's-
wars or
that's 87.
wrestling?
That's when the British Bulldogs beat the Killer Bees for the WWF title at WrestleMania 3.
Was that?
Yeah,
a football
just
game?
don't ask what the British Bulldogs actually did to that dog, though, because then people get angry.
Oh yeah.
Free Maxwell, no list, no guilt. Might as well at this point.
Was that a Milo and Otis situation?
Yeah.
Oh no. They killed like 6 cats making that movie. You know that?
Yeah.
The Japanese, they were fucking ruthless. They wanted that scene of the cat falling into the water, and they just kept dropping fucking cats into the river. Oh no, he didn't come up. Get another one.
We lost another one.
Again. Notice if we keep losing these. Stop losing them.
I just real quick. Leslie Targan said the pod racing scene in episode 1, that's fine. Like if that's what you like, that's literally a direct copy of Grand Prix from I think it was 1964. And that George Lucas literally completely ripped off that pod racing scene from Grand Prix, which is fine. You know, again, like that's what a lot of successful directors have done. But check that out if you haven't seen that one.
If you rewatch that pod race scene, there's a spot where one of the pods hits a Jawa, and you hear it go "ooh titty" off into like fly into the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh titties,
ooh titties. God damn, they really are Indians.
Like it's the train. It's like them in the trains.
It's like literally the only thing is mentioned is my friend. Let me tell you about the pod race.
Have you guys noticed that? No, really. Have you noticed that there's like this weird thing with Indians and taking selfies with trains and dying because of it?
Yeah, there's been a few of those videos on the interwebs.
No, it's really weird. It's like bugs to a bug zapper. Like a group of them will go stand next to the railroad as a train is like barreling at them, and then pull out their phones and take a selfie, and the train just it can't stop. So it kills them. They don't get out of the way.
You're talking about an entire country where I'm pretty sure like 99% of the people worship demons. So I mean, there's a lot of the weird things going on in that region of the world.
Imagine being the devil and just getting batch after batch after batch of dudes that got ran over a train. Like, imagine that. Like that.
Not only that, but Indians.
Yeah. I wasn't joking last night when I said that India is like the shadow realm of Earth.
Now that's a Yu-Gi-Oh cut to edit to make, being banished to the Shadow Realm, and then it just cuts to New Delhi on an average day.
Here it is. The young is going, no!
Yugi's grandpa is trapped in New Delhi. Guy was
century?
sent him to India.
You make that comment in what century that would be true, unfortunately.
All of them.
Ping, ping, pong.
All right. Well, we got some things to talk about. Then we have something, a little treat for you guys towards the end of the show. But let's talk about this. If you guys were here for Sunday show, and Sunday show was a pretty big show, we had Technical Warrior Productions on doing a part 2 of our WWE and Satanism series. And it just so happens that during the course of that conversation, we were talking about how there are people in the WWE who are kind of openly playing with things that you probably shouldn't be playing with, as told in the Bible, and they just went ahead and do it anyway. And as a repercussion to that, they've had a lot of very, very eerie and weird instances with weird demon-possessed like people showing up in their house and causing a whole lot of ruckus. There's been a lot of... There's been a few break-ins. There's been a few instances of attempted kidnappings. There's been a few
hate it when
weirdos
Charlize
with
Theron
guns.
breaks into my house.
I hate it when she adopts kids, but we'll get to that later.
I hate it when she breaks into my house and adopts my kids.
Get out of here, Charlize.
Not a
We will address that later because I have a whole rant.
I'm not getting the movie van this week.
But yeah, here I guess we have another instance here with our good buddies Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. While they were stinking up the joint on Raw last night, they got home burgerized in Los Angeles. Someone broke into the home and stole some cash or whatnot, and then just dipped on into the atmosphere. So, like I said, I just found this very, very interesting. We literally just talked about this less than 24 hours ago. It didn't happen. So, yeah, according to TMZ, the cops say that the Playa del Rey property was broken into at about 3 a.m, just hours after the couple had performed the Monday Night Raw in Providence, Rhode Island. So, thankfully, no one was home at the time, including their daughter, because obviously they take their kid on the road with her, probably a smart thing. But law enforcement says that the suspect or suspects forced their way through the weird sliding glass made off of cash. Rollins was the one who made the 911 call to report it, so I'm assuming that they had some kind of like home camera system and saw a bunch of people ransacking their place. So far, there's been no arrest, but the investigation is ongoing. The couple has been seen home frequently. In fact, Lynch posted a shot of them relaxing in their living room just a month ago, and I think that she just announced that she's doing some new television show later on as well. So this is one aspect of the story. Once again, another wrestler in this circle dealing with break-ins and stuff like that. But here's kind of the bigger story of this whole thing. I guess we kind of expanded onto this. WWE Raw just posted its lowest viewership ever on Netflix thus far. And I say thus far because football has not started yet. So these are bad numbers in the middle of the summer where there's literally nothing else to watch. So keep in mind, this is the way that they do things now because they're on Netflix. They're not actually counting viewers anymore. They're counting views, like a YouTube video counts views. And you also got to keep it in mind, these are global views that are counting up in the course of 1 week. So in the course of 1 week, 2.5 global views for Raw worldwide in a total of 7 days, which is the lowest number that they have drawn so far on the platform. We're talking about this a while back ago when keep in mind, if you guys didn't know, WWE is getting paid $500 million a year to be on Netflix. So Netflix is paying them a pretty penny to be on the platform. Back in the beginning of the year, I think they got average like 6 million views for their premiere episode. They've lost 2/3 of that audience here in about 7 months, and it's only slowly getting worse. So yeah, things are not going very good right now. People are whining about the booking. They're whining about the fact that no one wants to go see the women's show that they got here in Atlanta in a couple of days, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, like I said, when your market is the gays and the girlies, so guess what? The gays and the girlies are going to be at Beyonce. This is happening right across the street from the WWE show.
They think Beyonce is going to come across the street and like get a hot dog or something.
I don't understand who, like, did you not like do like a Google search of like what other events was happening in the city before you booked Atlanta? Literally during this all women show, during this all-women show this Saturday, Beyonce is literally going to be performing directly across the street. So there's not going to be no women or gays who show up to that show because they're all going to be across the street at Beyonce. Like, how stupid can you possibly be?
So here's a funny thing, right? So you notice it's John Cena down in the corner there on that thumbnail. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
He looks like he's wearing a cat mask.
Well, I mean, he is almost 50.
Yeah, he's aged.
They're like a furry cat mask. It looks like a cat John Cena down in the corner because the way the shadow is fucked up.
Right, yeah, I know what you
face.
mean.
Yeah.
And he looks like Catman. You can't see me. I'm in the litter box.
It's a panther.
So Eddie,
John Cena, the White Panther. Why didn't they do that? That would have been hilarious. Having John Cena come out in an ivory, white, and gold Black Panther costume and take the mask off. That would have been hilarious.
That would actually involve creativity, which they have none.
I mean, this is what John Cena looks like now. So, like I said, he's almost a 50-year-old man. This is not thugonomics John Cena anymore by any stretch of the imagination.
Nor should it ever be again.
Yep. Eddie, I'll start with you here. There's kind of two parallels here. One is the whole, once again, we have another home invasion of a WWE star. And then secondly, their ratings are very, very bad. And by the way, Seth Rollins is on top of the show. There's a connection there.
Well, there you go.
Criminy. I like Seth. No, I really don't.
Someone has to.
I wouldn't blame you, man. Someone has to, dude.
I like all the boys. I don't care. They're all good guys and girls and everything. I feel sad that they got. Hey.
I'm sorry,
I want to record Eddie saying I like all the boys, please.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
And the girls, I said.
Okay.
His milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
It's worse because my milkshake's usually chocolate. Anyway, so I'm really sad that they got broken into. La Playa del Rey or whatever is a really expensive place, and I don't know. It sucks that there's like stalkers for wrestlers. I never thought there would be. There used to be rats. We used to have rats, girls that would just follow you everywhere to each town just because they wanted to have sex with you and go on the road.
And then the industry chased them away.
That's when men were men. In this day and age, the men are feminine and the women are like masculine. And the thing about that is,
wrestling is for the girlies and the gays now, people. You need to get
exactly.
the program.
And the crazy thing is, for all these masculine type chicks, they still got to deal with these stalkers. Like, they have no security whatsoever. Like with the Liv Morgan situation.
Oh yeah.
And
I remember what happened. I remember what happened to Bailey. I mean, they went to the dude went to the performance center trying to get to her.
Yeah.
Like that was the first time I was like, oh my god, that's weird. Like you never heard that from like any of the girls in the Attitude Era or any of that. There wasn't that really. There was maybe that for Trish or maybe for Stacy, but that wasn't for all the other girls. And it was like, fuck, that's just weird that they would come to the performance center and everything.
It's because like Vince actually took proper precautions, while Triple H doesn't take any precautions at all, and he just lowballs every damn body because he's too damn cheap to want to.
Well, as we talked about on Sunday, it's one of two things with these stalkers. It's either one. Like I said, this didn't happen with, Stacy and Tori and Trish and all those ladies. Like, one, the audience was completely different 20 years ago than what it is now. Exactly. It's not the same audience whatsoever. And then two, as we've talked about with some of the women, one of them who just had a stalker bring a gun up to her house trying to kidnap her not too long ago, is that a lot of these people are into sex magic and witchcraft and stuff. So I'm pretty sure they're probably doing some kind of attraction spells behind closed doors, but even the witches will tell you that stuff can backfire pretty harshly.
That was the lesbian, right? That was what's her name?
Oh, Sonya Deville. Yep.
Sonya Deville. Like she was good too. Like I liked her a lot. She was really good. And the fact that she got scared off because the WWE wasn't was just allowing people to just fucking show up to her house and everything else. Like, that's the thing now, is that the WWE, they don't want to go union and everything else. They got to start protecting their fucking wrestlers now from geeks and nerds.
But it's like,
and
well,
whoever the hell else.
What are you gonna do when some dude who looks like Brian Peppers with a gun just shows up to your house? It's like what are you supposed to do? Like, there's no protocol for that.
Anyway,
here's the thing,
Crazy.
though. Let's say that they're not practicing magic. Let's just say that, but they are endorsing that. Like, they're pretending to do it, right? They want to get all like spooky and cool, It's so cool to summon demons. So anyway, that does, the people you hang around with, those tend not to be like upstanding folk.
True.
There are some super duper nice Satanists out there somewhere in the world, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure there's somebody who will bake you peanut butter cookies. And
I'm sure I'm sure there's charmed
Right.
witches out there. Yeah.
The majority of the people that practice magic tend to be a bit on the fringes of society. And so, yeah, you're going to go around and talk about doing magic, hanging out with other magic users, you're going to get fucking robbed. You're going to get fucking robbed. That's just get used to that. It's not a rock concert. These people are worshiping demons and shit. They're blood rites. They're killing animals to sacrifice to some god, be it real or otherwise. They're doing that shit. Of course they're going to fucking rob you. You think that's where they draw the line? Yeah, I killed a goat the other day, but I am not going to take that Magnavox television. I am a good person. You can take that TV. You
But
take
that's
that
what
TV and run.
But that's what I mean. It's like, that's what I mean. I'm sorry. Like, but that's what I mean. It's like it used to not be like that. Satanists would not follow Marilyn Manson around, fucking saying that we're sacrificing anybody or anything else. Like, that didn't happen. Like, they kept it to themselves. Like, weirdly enough, Satanists
what were they supposed to do instead?
It's like Six Hybrid said. Social media has created a lot of parasocial relationships because now these people feel closer to these celebrities than ever. All because they may follow them on whatever platform.
It's like, I don't even want to stalk people I know. Like, I want those
For
people
real.
away from me.
For real.
and like, I don't have a whole lot to say on this topic or this whatever what happened to these people, unfortunately. But like, nobody ever talks about the downside of do what thou will. Like that whole like mantra of Satanism or whatever.
I'll just be my own god. Take that.
But it's like, okay, well, there's the downside to that is like, if you're an immoral being or person, like, what's going to stop them from like, knifing you or like, much less stealing your television. By the way, Magnavox, great name drop.
You're welcome. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go be my own god. Then somebody breaks into your home, and it's like, well, that ended very quickly.
Jesus Christ, someone's in our house. I guarantee you that's what they said.
All I'm saying is that my god didn't get robbed at gunpoint. That's all I'm saying.
Got him.
Yep, got him. And then, like I said, the other side of this whole story is that WWE is floundering right now when it comes to viewership. Like, their viewership is cratered, and we've been saying this for well over a year. Netflix is one of the dumbest companies to ever exist. Like, I don't know how they continue to get money. They literally, like, keep in mind, USA was only paying them like about maybe $280 a year to be on like the USA network. They were shopping around. No one else was going to give them the amount of money they were asking. Like, no one else. They even went to Amazon first. Jeff Bezos said no. You know how bad you have to be for Jeff Bezos to say no? To not give you money, and then Netflix, for whatever reason, came out like $500 million a year. It's like no one said that. Like, it's like that one guy at the auction, like the numbers like 400,000 or something like that. He goes 1 million. It's like, why would you do that?
Exactly. See, I really have to wonder, like, just what was the thought process? They had to have thought that they were getting WWE in the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era, because there is no way that they looked at this current crop of quote-unquote talent nowadays and said, oh yeah, I want to put my $500 million on that. Like, there's no way.
No. I think that the other thing, just real quick, somebody had mentioned it in the chat just a second ago, but it was like, it said Netflix. No, the CEO or one of the co-CEOs of Netflix, after the premiere, when they got like 6 million views, and they were all like, "Oh, this is great." He even had the audacity to go out there the week later. It's like, "Yeah, this is something nice. Hopefully, we can build upon it as time goes on." You've lost 2/3 of your audience in 7 months. So I can only imagine you could have paid a hell of a lot cheaper for the numbers that you guys are getting right now. Like I said, all the excuses now are thrown out the window. Like when WWE was on cable, you had all the excuses. Oh, it was the Monday Night Football game was on. Like, oh, it was Love and Hip Hop was on. Oh, the baseball game was on. Oh, all this and that. It's like now you literally have a show that anyone can watch throughout any time period of the week and still be counted into the numbers, and they're still not watching, which means that the actual live audience who watches it like at 8 o'clock on Monday, like traditionally, that's even significantly lower than what it is on the USA Network now.
It's hilarious.
Views on Netflix are not viewers. That does not mean that 2.5 million people actually watch or no. That means that they got 2.5 million views.
Yeah, it's like people could easily just like click on and then click off, and then there's also a such thing as bots.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I wonder what the excuse will be this time. It was like, what, Squid Games? Like, it's just, oh god, it's so crazy. And then at this point, I agree with Kenny. There's only 2 people that they could sell it to: the Saudis and Vince McMahon's holding company. Those are the only 2 people,
which will probably be the Saudis, if we're being honest with us.
Exactly, the only 2 people that be dumb enough to buy that crap.
Yeah, so that's a good way to go, guys. But here's a story that I want to talk about right here, talking about stupid media companies. Let's talk about South Park here for a second, because apparently the creators of South Park are very, very upset with the current state of the show and the current state of the network. Now, apparently Paramount is merging with Skydance at the moment. I initially thought that this was regarding, I guess, the potential future merger with Warner Bros, which, by the way, it will happen somewhere in the next few years. Even Warner Bros itself is preparing for it. But no, this is about the Skydance merger. And now the creators of South Park are essentially blaming the network and the parent company for saying that you guys are the reason why we're not able to release these episodes that we've already had in the can here. So this is what the season 27 premiere of the South Park is being delayed a couple more weeks. And then Trey Parker and Matt Stone released a scathing statement against Comedy Central and Paramount Global. And like I said, Paramount's been a complete dumpster fire for a while now, so it's not really much of I guess a shock here. But basically it's this. This is their official response, their press release, quote unquote, on social media that released on all their social. And it says this: in response to the press release from Comedy Central about change the date of South Park from Trey Parker and Matt Stone, this merger is a shit show and it's fucking up South Park. We are at the studio working on new episodes we hope the fans get to see. And that's pretty much like where it is right now. So they're clearly unhappy, but here's kind of my question. I know that for the last few years, especially after COVID, like the production that South Park used to have got slowed significantly. And I know the outbreak had a lot to do with that, but even recent fans before this whole thing happened is going to be complaining that they're only doing like 6 episode seasons now or something like that. Like they're not really producing much content. And as a result of that, they're not nearly as culturally relevant as they have been, especially they lost a lot of relevancy in the last 5 years. So they're kind of looking at it from the perspective of, hey, we want to be able to release stuff for you, but Paramount's not allowing us to do it. While the fans are saying, well, what happened to was Paramount essentially blocking you guys for the last several years, because this has been going on now since at least 2021, as most people play out here. But we don't know what the future of South Park is going to be at this point, if they're going to remain. I know they just signed like a massive deal to stay on Paramount for like a significant period of time, and they're getting paid a lot of money to do so, but creatively not exactly working out in their favor. The approval for this Paramount Skydance deal, which is an $8 billion deal, is still there's nearly a year away from its approval here. It's still pending FCC approval nearly a year after the agreement was announced, which means that they're still waiting for the green light and they still don't have it yet. So this is probably going to be going on for quite some time. All these media companies are basically just playing with each other's debt at this point. Like Warner Brothers is
Each other's what?
mess. Debt.
Debt.
That big bold
Sheesh.
debt of theirs.
With a big D, debt.
Oh yeah.
But no,
All right.
the whole Warner Brothers, they're still shuffling debt from Ted Turner. Paramount has no money, which is why they're trying to sell to begin with. Everyone else is just like, it's all a house of cards. We're all financially in just a massive house of cards, and we're just waiting for someone to blow through this whole thing. It is going to be one hell of a collapse when this whole thing comes crashing down. And like I said, South Park seems to be in the middle of it. TW, I'll start with you here real quick. What is your take on the whole South Park situation, and what is your take kind of just in media at the moment with all of these companies seemingly just doing one stupid move after another?
Honestly, it's like with the South Park thing, I want to be on their side, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I kind of wonder if they didn't bring this on themselves a little bit with, like you said, this the very production being very slowed down for a while, because I actually used to hate that they just did those specials instead of like frequent episodes like they used to do. And then on top of that, streaming has just ruined everything. Like, it's like, honest to God, things would have been so much better if everything would have just stayed exclusive to cable. Honestly, because even when you think about cable, it's like, okay, cable can be expensive, but at least you're paying for one thing. You're essentially paying for all those channels just to be on one thing, on one kind of, sort of cable box or whatever. With streaming, you're paying this amount for this streaming service, that amount for that streaming service. Like, it's crazy because like certain shows are blocked off to certain streaming services. And what sucks about those streaming services is even on those places, on those platforms, you still can't even get everything. So it really just makes streaming into a giant joke.
And
There
look,
was-
sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, I'm obviously a big physical media advocate, so I'd like to remind everyone that, you don't have to worry about being censored. You have it on disc. It's right there. They can't take episodes away. You know why?
Exactly.
It's right there on disc. So, and I realize it's a big financial investment. I realize that a lot of people are just struggling to put food on the table. So I'm not saying, go out and spend money on, consumer products, but over the last decade, I've accumulated 500 movies on disc, and I'm really proud of that collection, of that effort. But this is a big reason why, because I'm afraid that one day they're just going to turn the screws on all the shows we love, all the movies we love, and say, we're going to censor it, we're going to cut it up, we're going to give you a million fucking ads, we're going to inundate you with ads, and so you can't escape our messaging and our whatever. So I like South Park. They've done Matt Stone and Trey Parker are funny guys. They've been very successful. You know what I mean? But this is just the way media works, is that it gets, the companies that are actually competing get reduced and reduced and reduced. When I was a teenager, there were 7 corporations that own 93% of the media in this country. Today, it's like 4. And so
we've talked about this many times before. Like, what was it, 84? You go back to 1984, there was 31 media companies making all the content you were watching on television and on movies, and now we're essentially down to 4. Like, that's really what we're down to now.
And I love movies more than anybody I know, basically, and or as much as anybody I know, I should say. And I have to just be honest, like, you're right. Like, all of the big media companies, all the corporations that own these media companies, they have an insurmountable amount of debt. They're just sort of like, it's eventually going to choke them and they won't be able to continue. And it's like, I don't know if they're going to ask for a bailout, which would be a fucking nightmare. Can you imagine the government trying to bail out a company that's worth hundreds of billions of dollars? That's a nightmare. So yeah, it's just like, this is eventually going to go down in flames.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to end very well. Cider, I'll ask you this whole question here. Wasn't it? What was the last South Park big movie that came out? Was that a couple of years ago?
COVID thing.
What was it? The COVID one or?
No, it's Ozempic.
right?
It's Ozempic.
Yeah, that one. That was at least a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of animated shows that just seemingly just go on forever, and we've talked about, like I said, The Simpsons. We've talked about, I guess, Family Guy. You can throw that in there. South Park is another one of those shows, and I just think to myself, has we just gotten to a point where people have plateaued? Like, is there still like a loyal, hardcore audience that are committed to this stuff, or do these guys just at this point just need to kind of let it go? Because, like I said, both of these guys are in their like mid-50s now.
Yeah.
So the thing with South Park is that it doesn't carry the kind of chutzpah that it used to. And the reason being is that, as you say, it's been around for a while. And after a while, you just kind of fall into a routine. You fall into what you expect out of it, and it does that. And you go, ha, that was funny. Kenny died. And that's that. There's only so many ways you can kill Kenny before you're repeating it. And they have made fun of repeating killing Kenny. I think there's like a whole special dedicated to counting how many times or ways Kenny is killed. So,
exactly.
See, I have a rule with creating superheroes, and it's kind of the same thing with creating television shows. You get about 25 years before it's just done. There's nothing more to do with it. You can't rehash another joke again. Even making jokes about the current day politics are just dull because it's the same jokes about the same issues because nothing's changed. So 25 years is as long as you get, and South Park's time has come up. It's over.
Yeah,
and what kept them
go
going for a little while is that, like I said, it was less more about, oh my God, Kenny died, and then like they started doing more like into the satirical type edge. So it was like, now let's how do we parody or like satire the things that are actually like going on in the world? And I think they kind of hit like a little bump in the road with, I think they even admitted in themselves with the whole Trump situation, because it was like after a while it was like, well, what more can we say about Trump that we haven't already said? Like, we can't just dedicate like 4 years just to talking about Trump. It's like that would absolutely like kill our show. So at that point they kind of reached I guess a plateau where it was like, what more can we actually talk about that would actually be funny, especially in a time period where it's like, it's not like people like, oh, you can make fun of like, what was the one episode where it was like the Islamic terrorists were going after the people of like Jersey Shore and stuff like that, and do like kind of those, and people would laugh at it. Now people are more sensitive to everything, and then like I said, now people are more I guess too emotional when it comes to like certain things. So it's really put them in kind of a difficult island for them to navigate around too, and they're still trying to figure out ways how they can be sharp and not essentially sell out essentially their character over the last several years too. So I mean, it's a tough spot, and there's a lot of people in company that are kind of in the same position, but like I said, this has been going on now for almost 30 years.
Yeah, and I'm not just pack it up, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my bad. You can go ahead.
Yeah,
just wanted to say real quick, the PC principle thing, I don't know how old that is. That shit made me laugh so bad. Like, stuff like that kind of commentary is still relevant to me, at least, and maybe I'm just getting old. But it's, and I'm not in the loop with South Park, like what's new, like because I'm super behind in that show anyway, like watching it. But like that shit was so funny, like when especially in my early 20s, which was, I don't know, would have been around season like 14, 15, something like that. So just, and you had episodes where they like basically called Tom Cruise gay, and like the whole trapped in the closet R. Kelly stuff. And like, I mean, you had years of really funny social commentary. You even had their beef with like Family Guy, which Family Guy is another thing where it's like, okay, listen, I love that show. I was 10 when it came out. I will always go to bat for especially those first 6-7 seasons, but that's another show that's overstayed its welcome. And The Simpsons and like all these things have died from inside because they've just gone on way too long, which is a general criticism I have about television shows in the first place. But
exactly, this is and before I get to my point, it's like with The Simpsons. One thing I want to say about that: if we're getting to the point where we're killing off Marge, time to end it. Time to end it.
And real quick,
time
they
to end
only
it.
killed her off because, like I said, the voice actresses and actors who are still on that show are so old now they can't even do the voice anymore. Like they had to get rid of characters because they literally cannot do the voices anymore. Like you seen like recent episodes of The Simpsons, they all sound like they're dying in their 90s. Like
They are.
That's why I may seem like the biggest shill for cable television or like the networks, but I actually loved when most like networks just had that kind of 65 episode kind of rule.
Oh, okay.
It's like you can only do so many episodes, so many seasons.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of like that because at least, like, even with some shows that seemed a little brief, at least there was an expiration date. At least it wasn't going to go on for way too long.
And you have to understand too, like what you're talking about is also just a different era of television, because like, and I'm sure there was a show before it, but The Sopranos, what that did, that kind of reimagining of what a drama or a season of TV could be, 13 episodes, versus the 26, the 25 episode order that networks would do. So, I mean, and then, obviously a lot of streaming services adapted that model, that Sopranos model, for their original content and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's the same company, whether it's cable, whether it's streaming. It's like, you as the consumer have to almost be smarter and more aware of what options you have, because they're going to try to screw you every time they can. So, like, you know what I mean? They're dying from not having money. So they're literally going to find every way they can possibly, get more money from you. So, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one question here. It's like, what's prediction? Would they stay or move to a different company, or would they cancel it? They're locked into a contract right now, so they know for a fact that they just can't go anywhere. Because I mean, look, I don't want to sit here and pretend like they're the victims here, because Paramount, whatever the case is going on here, they're paying them a lot of money. Like, they're making 9 figures right now. So let's not go so pity party that we pretend like they're not, multi-millionaires 1,000 times over. But at the same time, like I said, they got them locked into a contract. They're probably not going anywhere anytime soon. But even if they were to go somewhere else, I mean, you don't think that Netflix or Hulu or one of these other big, streaming giants wouldn't pay $500 million a year like they gave to WWE just to get Trey and Mac to come to their little, like they're going to be fine ultimately. But
that's the thing is Hollywood's turning into like the video game industry now, where all of these things, Paramount, Disney, and all of these, they just acquired a whole bunch of studios, whether it be Marvel or whether it be South Park or whether it be what have you. And so what they're expecting is just for them to just produce a whole bunch of content for them to be able to stream whenever they want. And the problem is with South Park is that because it's such a topical show, they already have 7 or 8 episodes already in the can. They're talking about the California fires. They're talking about Trump wanting to take over Mexico as the first state. And the problem with South Park is that the news also, I mean, 20 years ago, it was easier to catch up with the news because the news caught up. The show would catch up 6 months after the news came out. So it can be much more easier and much more topical to absorb. Now the news changes so quickly. Who remembers the California fires, really? Who remembers 51st State, really? So they got a Diddy episode. That might be interesting to see. But now we have a verdict.
Yeah, that used to be kind of like their advantage like 20 years ago. Like they used to be able to basically like cook up an episode like in a week and have it be like topical and stuff like that. But the way, like you said, the way that news moves now, if something big were to break on Monday, by the time it premieres on, let's say, Friday, by instance, it could be old news already. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, honestly, and the one last thing I'll say about it, it's like, I know Eddie pointed out that like Hollywood's getting like the gaming industry. I, honest to God, kind of hope it's not getting like that to the point where physical media no longer matters, because out of every form of media, gaming seems to be the only form of media where physical media, unfortunately, does not matter, because the bastards in gaming have pretty much made it to where even your physical copies or just licenses. And I don't want to see that happen in any other media.
Yeah, look, put it to you this way: till the commies make personal possessions illegal, just keep your DVDs as long as you can, and that's basically just where we're at right now. All these, like I said, all these media, we don't even have real studios anymore. When it comes to gaming, television, there are no studios anymore. They're all dead. All you have is mega corporations, mega global corporations masquerading as film studios, and we have to go through all of these legal hoops and stuff like that. No one's making anything for art. They're making things for a buck, and that's why everything sucks now, because everything has been consumed by Comcast or Disney or Warner or Paramount or G&E and all these other big giant global corporations. This is why we're in the position that we're in right now. By the way, Rick's here. I forgot to mention that a while ago.
Yeah.
Hi, Rick.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Hello.
Hey, Rick.
Hi, Rick. It's actually pretty easy to build up your physical collection nowadays, especially when it comes to movies and things. You go to thrift shops. Help your mom and
if
pop
you're not
thrift shop.
like me, who likes to buy everything new in shrink wrap, where grubby hands didn't touch it prior. You can absolutely make a killing at thrift shops. Absolutely.
Thrift shops, Goodwill, secondhand stores.
Some of those,
I mean,
they have good copies. I've gotten some things from the thrift shops and the savers. They've turned out to play well, and just as a plug here, you could always go to the library. Most of them still have DVD collections that you can check out.
I have a couple of DVDs from thrift shops that says "Property of San Diego Public Library," and I was like, "Oh, this is stolen." Somebody stole this and gave it to a thrift shop, and they were like, "Yeah, who cares?"
And sometimes, remember,
you
can also get out of print copies. There are some items like Criterions that are out of print.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch. I actually just got this weekend. I just got a bunch of wrestling DVDs from like 2003. Never coming back. And
I haven't. I don't know if I told you guys this. I spent $100 on an out of print Blu-ray copy of They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Just because I think it's such a great movie. But it was like, yeah, I can't justify this.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck is this world? What have they done to us? What did they do to us?
Yep.
Well, what were you gonna say, Rick?
Been a good 50, 60 on out of print.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know. I honestly can't tell you the last DVD I bought. All my stuff's over there. I buy more TV shows now than anything.
I'm actually going to get a couple of DVDs tomorrow from Amazon. But they're documentaries.
Why?
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoy documentaries.
I know the first DVD.
It's Ken Burns. It's Ken Burns baseball.
No, I already own a copy of that.
I did watch the Rock Hudson documentary on Sunday, so just throwing that out there.
Nice.
Well, look, let's talk about Charlize Theron here. There's a few very stupid comments that she made this week.
I'm going to take your children from you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a woman who's like 50 years old who buys children from Africa and turns them trans, and then claims that the kid wanted to do it at the age of 3, and we're supposed to be like, oh yeah, she's
all those trans kids in Africa,
Yeah, all of them are just
remember that?
It's weird.
Remember that? Like at 2:00 in the morning, some old lady would come on television and be like, "For 50 cents a day, you can cut the penis off of an African child and help them achieve their gender dreams."
Well,
I mean, look, for as much attention as we give, like the whole.
I'm so
Jeffrey
happy that they go with a
thing,
Miss Cleo accent.
Wait.
Look,
Why would Miss
as much
Cleo be
attention-
doing that?
The woman from All in the Family. What was her name? Sally Struthers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who's made fun of in South Park, by the way. That's an early South Park.
Oh
episode.
yeah, that was
Think of
like
the
Job in the Hut.
children.
Marvin.
Think of the children.
Look, as much as we give to the whole like Jeffrey Epstein thing, like it's so blatant that we've been using places like Africa and Haiti and China for just human smuggling operations. And all they're like, oh, for 10 cents a day, you can sponsor a child. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're doing all the sponsoring over there.
I don't know
Jane.
why. Haiti is a beautiful country.
Mhm.
Haiti is a beautiful country. Conan O'Brien told us all that.
So they start hacking limbs off. Yeah.
and start eating people and shit. What were we talking about? Charlize Theron. So she was talking about how she had a one night stand with some 26-year-old.
About eating somebody.
No one wants to date you, and then that's why you're all upset because you're 50 and single and you have 2 kids that you stole from Africa. But outside of that, now she's whining about female-led movies because apparently we're just not giving female-led movies a chance. So I have an article here for The Independent that I'm going to share with all of you guys here because we're all going to suffer through this together. By the way, this was written by a male, allegedly. So I had to check and make sure this is not a woman who wrote this.
Alleged.
It is alleged because of all the pink fonts everywhere, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, he does have a penis, but whether he's actually a dude, it's still debatable. So we'll figure that out here. But this is what he wrote here. By the way, notice that in articles like this, they say things as if they're positive when they're actually not. And I want to see if you catch on to this. Has Hollywood turned the corner in its crawl towards gender equality? For the worst, yeah, probably. Squint at the numbers, you can easily convince yourself this is the case. Last year marked the first time that more than half, 54%, of the movies that came out in the box office featured female leads or co-leads. That's not a good thing. That's you're saying that as if it's a positive, and that's not a positive. This year, too, has been a bunch of female-fronted hits, like Thunderbolts, that's a hit. Isn't that like the second lowest drawing MCU movie ever out of like the 50 that they've done so far?
This whole thing is idiotic. All those movies that they
mentioned,
Thunderbolts, Lilo and Stitch, Jurassic World Rebirth, people did not go to these movies because it's a female-led action film. No, they went because it's a Marvel movie, it's a remake of a Disney movie, and it's a Jurassic World movie. It had nothing to do with the lead. They would have gone if it had been anyone.
Right.
They would have gone to see Jurassic World Rebirth if Joseph Smith had led it.
By the way, this is what I mean, and usually I'm criticizing the movie for doing this, but in this situation, it's the reviewer. But this is blatant tokenism. You're using whatever the identity of the actor in the role that, as Rick said, you could have put a stump in there. You didn't say that, but I'm saying you could put anybody in there and it would be fine. It would still sell tickets. It would still put butts in seats because it's like it doesn't have any effect on the outcome of the movie.
I'm calling them that from now on.
Haven't you heard that Jurassic World Rebirth is a hit because it has a woman, a gay man, and a black man, all of them leads? That's the sole reason that it's a big hit now.
All of them
Bailey apparently is now a gigantic film star. Like he's our new Tom Cruise.
All of them stumps.
Yeah, by the way, we're not even
using that
paragraph into this whole thing yet.
Oh yeah, Charlize Theron breaking into your house and adopting your children. Yeah,
they're taking your children from you.
Meanwhile, at the time of this writing, the Netflix charts are topped by The Old Guard. By the way, like anytime a new movie comes out, it's going to top the chart because everyone's going to figure out what the hell this crap is. Doesn't mean it's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never even
The Old Guard. So The Old Guard Part 1 was a movie that was released literally during COVID. It was in 2020. I reviewed that movie. It was one of the worst movies I have seen in my life and certainly in that year. It's essentially a movie where Charlize Theron plays some kind of immortal god with a buzz cut, with a boy haircut, and her partners in crime are like 2 gay dudes and like some black chick. So I literally wrote in the article and in the review that I wrote, the film was so woke it was asleep. Meaning that it went so far in one direction, it's looped back to the other end. Like, that's how bad it was.
I can say I've never heard of The Old Guard. I thought I've heard of These Old Rods, but I've never heard of The Old Guard.
It's a Netflix. It's a shit movie.
Like I said, it was literally a movie that got released during COVID. So that's probably why you missed it.
That makes sense.
Theron is probably well positioned as anyone to speak on the current state of blockbuster cinema. Based on what? Based on what? Over the past 2 decades, the South African actor has established herself as one of the most formidable action
Elon
stars.
Musk. She's the Elon Musk of Hollywood.
With projects via Mad Max Fury Road, Atomic Blonde, and the Fast and Furious franchise. Again, none of those are positive.
She's not. She has nothing to do with the success of those movies.
Nothing. And I don't even think Atomic Blonde
Mad
was like
Max,
an actual
Fury
success.
Road and Atomic Blonde. Oh no, Fury Road was a hit, but it wasn't because of her. Atomic Blonde bombed. And Fast and Furious, people would go to see it regardless. I mean, they went to see it with John Cena. Okay.
Wait a minute. Did somebody say Atomic Bong?
They're gonna take your family.
I meant to say blonde. It came out as bomb, and no, I did not say bong. Okay, get your mind out of
joke. Boy, do you suck. Why don't you sew up that pussy and grow a dick? We might get a joke out of you. God damn it.
Yeah, so Boba Fett is right. It did make a profit. It just felt like it didn't because it was such a piece of shit. So that's the whole that's the difference there. That's why you thought it didn't make any money because it wasn't very good. But and here's the thing. I like Charlize Theron from her 90s work where she pretended to be this beautiful ingenue and this soulful woman who was going to change your life in Sweet November, Keanu Reeves again. But
man,
she's just slowly turned into this awful creature of Hollywood, to the point where it's I can't think of the last good performance that she gave. The last honest good performance. I think she got cast in the Odyssey, so I think Christopher Nolan can work wonders, but she hasn't really been much of an actor. And listen, I saw Ballerina. I actually really liked it. I thought that was a movie worth going to see. It didn't generate enough interest for people to go out and see it. And, obviously there were issues in the, post-production and reshoots and all that with that. But the fact of the matter is there's not a track record for a female-led action movie that's going to make money time after time. Male-led action movies have been one of the most profitable products that Hollywood has put out over the last, 40 years since the start of the 80s. So it's apples and oranges. This is not something that you can compare and be like, hey, we're not being given our fair share. You don't have any share. You have an 8% market here. It's seriously, it's someone complaining about a non-existent reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get to that too, because there's a big point of this whole thing. There's an elephant in the room that's not being addressed here. But like I said, we're not dealing with a man here. Speaking to
it's
the New York
knife
Times
behind Charlize Theron's back when she's about to take your children.
Yeah, cut their balls off. And then a few days ago, however, she was skeptical about the current gender imbalance in the film industry. Explaining that it's still harder for women-fronted films to get made. Action films with female leads don't get greenlit as much as the ones with male leads. I wonder why. The thing is that it frustrates me the fact that guys will get a free ride when a woman does this and the movie doesn't get hit fully. They don't necessarily get a chance to do it again. That's because you guys lose a lot of money.
That's not true. Come on. We just had a movie with Viola Davis taking down an international consortium of terrorists. It was G20. So there you go.
Movie.
Well, I mean, it's a small step, but there you go, Charlize. They just proved you wrong. Viola Davis is our generation's action queen.
Yeah, with the Meemaw King. That's exactly what we need. But we'll get back to her.
Tyler Perry Meemaw is going to be fantastic.
Oh my god, that's really we need to stop.
Yeah, don't give me any ideas.
We actually have a pretty decent idea for that, but I'll talk about that later.
Okay, what was the point here? Oh yeah, so Theron's remarks are telling when it comes to the subtler systems of sexism underpinning the modern the modern studio mentality. The broad statistics might tend towards progress, but the devil's in the details. Look at the type of films that populate the upper tiers of the box office charts and the roles within them, and the picture starts looking a lot murkier. For male-led blockbusters, its sequels reign supreme. Last year, you had Deadpool the Wolverine, the third movie, Venom, the third movie. We probably didn't need either one of those. Bad Boys 4, didn't need that one. Then this year we already have Mission Impossible. What is it, like 9, 8, 9, something like that. Captain America, Brave. Okay, that technically doesn't count. That's a completely different Captain America now. So I mean, that's Captain America 4 on a technicality. So I wouldn't even count that. I can go on and on. The other example. So you're just whining about any movie that was ever made like in the last year that doesn't involve a chick. Like,
But
yeah,
all of those have had successful track records. It's not like if
they're
can make
franchises. They're not just regular
Exactly.
ass movies.
And most of them were terrible. I mean, Deadpool was terrible. Venom was terrible. Ride or
Madam
Die was
Web.
terrible. Brave New World was terrible. Legends was passable. I didn't see 28 Years, but most of these have not been good films. This is not exactly a compliment.
Yeah, 28 Years wasn't a good one either.
Yeah, it was bad.
For female stars, it's an entirely different story. Firstly, it's clear that women are less utilized when it comes to the action genre. There's a reason. In general, as many highest-grossing female-fronted blockbusters in the past year are the animated children's films Inside Out 2 and Moana 2. Made the top 3. Musicals Wicked or the live-action remakes of Lilo and Stitch. If we look at those women-led pictures, they do not fit within the action genre. Here's the thing. Women aren't the target audience for action movies. I don't know if you guys understand this or you guys just fighting this, but the gays and the girlies do not go to see Stallone movies. Like that's not their dig. That's not their thing. So you're trying to market a film that has no audience. Because guys don't want to go to movies to vicariously live through Ana de Armas, and girls don't want to go see female-led action stars because there's nothing in it for them either. So it's almost as like this entire genre of movies you're trying to manifest into reality is moot because no one wants to watch them. And I have proof because I wrote an article about this several years ago that you guys didn't listen to. In terms of original films, prospect franchise starters, as it were, last year was defined by high-profile misfires. The Argyle film. Oh, there's Rick's favorite film of all time.
No!
Rick's favorite movie.
Come on!
Mhm.
You're really going to use Argyle to defend the idea of a female-led action film? Come on,
And
come on.
Madam
Are you
Web.
insane?
That's Matthew Vaughn, who it's like again, Matthew Vaughn had this track record for the Kingsman movies, which I never saw, had no interest in seeing. But again, he was able to do Argyle based on that success. What success are you trying to, what success are you trying to take and run with that you've shown? You know what I mean? Doesn't make any sense.
Argyle, I just
Argyle, you'll get caught up in the Argyle. Oh, yeah. When female actors don't when female actors do front high-profile blockbuster sequels, it's often a follow-up to a film that they were not involved with. Think last year's Furiosa Mad Max saga, which impeccably made a prequel to Fury Road.
No, it was not impeccably made. No, stop.
Mhm.
It's not impeccably
It was
made.
impeccably made, Rick. That's what the article states, so it has to be true. Anna Taylor-Joy, played by the character, famous? I mean, really famous? Are we still going with that? Furiosa was seen as a flop, and hopes of a sequel remains dubious. This year's Ballerina threw Ana de Armas into the John Wick spinoff, another box office bomb, and more gloomy prospects. Twister and
Was it a
Alien...
bomb?
yeah, it only made like 130.
Yes.
It only made 130, but the budget is like 90. So
right.
that didn't
Plus
help
marketing and all that shit. Yep.
Twisters and Alien Romulus performed well. I mean, again, you're still talking about franchises here.
But were the tornadoes women?
Wait a
I mean, that was
minute.
a
Wait a
female-led
minute.
movie.
Twisters was not sold on Daisy Edgar Jones. It was sold on Glenn Powell. So let's stop there.
The tornadoes were gender bent.
And really, it was sold on the tornadoes, the storm. That's why people went. To see shit get destroyed.
Tornadoes, but it was not. Oh, Daisy Edgar Jones. It was Glenn Powell who was.
No, people went to the 4DX screening of Twisters to see that 5 out of 10 woman will lead that movie.
Very British-looking woman.
Yeah. Where was I at here? Oh yeah, so then this guy starts rambling on about it's a similar deal with Rebecca Hall and Godzilla and Kong. Yeah, those movies are terrible too, by the way. Or Johansson in Jurassic World Rebirth. It's not that women aren't allowed to lead individual franchises. They are sullenly given the opportunity to become the latest face of them, quote unquote. The path to stardom has helped make actors such as Cruise or Reynolds and the household names almost are totally sealed shut. Again, like there's not gonna be a female Superman or a female Batman. Like I don't know what to tell you there. Like,
exactly.
I also think Ryan Reynolds is a big star.
Well, maybe in Wrexham. What wasn't Charlize Theron in that Eon Flux thing?
Yeah,
Why
she
did- you know,
was.
that was
A disaster.
that was a female action led.
Yes.
A female action led
Sing.
film.
Wasn't she in that bullshit? She was-
Wasn't she in
Emphasis
Ghost
on
in the
boom.
Shell? Wasn't
That's
she
another
Ghost in the
you
Shell? Was
scraped
that
up your
female led
Johansson.
action film? Oh, Scarlett
got
Johansson.
No, that was
Okay.
Scarlett
Scarlett.
Johansson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Scarlett
sorry.
Johansson. And then she got shit for not being Asian. Remember that?
Oh,
Yes.
I like how Rick is like Ghost in the Shell. Was that another one you scraped off your foot there, Rick?
Look,
There
Scarlett
is, like,
Johansson's performance in that movie. I'm a Ghost in the Shell fan. Okay, I legitimately like that franchise. That whole movie's great. These raced weirdos just came out of nowhere and they were like, white woman in Japanese property. Well, no, that's the point. Is that a Japanese girl is killed and her brain is stuffed into a beautiful white woman robot body. That's the fucking point.
Wasn't Scarlett Johansson or which one? Charlize Theron or Scarlett Johansson? Which one was the one that couldn't play the transgender person?
That was Scarlett Johansson. Everybody was like, "You have a vagina. You can't pretend to be a man." And that was a very awkward conversation.
Right.
I would imagine. What?
Especially when they brought up the kids.
Poor ScarJo.
No, they were mad at her because she was a
roles.
cis woman portraying a man who was trying to become a woman. And
They
were
literally
like,
bullied her out of the role of the film
You-
that she was producing.
Does anybody find it
to help
hilariously-
them.
That is interesting, given that Felicity Huffman received an Oscar nomination for playing a transgender woman
Trans-America.
in Transamerica,
Yes.
and
Um,
now
I
that
just-
wouldn't
I
even be
wanna-
possible.
The hilarious
changed.
irony here that okay, if she would have been allowed to play a hold on, let me get this right, a trans woman, they would have actually put an attractive face on the trans community.
Yes.
Exactly.
The story,
Sorry,
As
like
opposed to what-
the story is about a trans person that ended up killing themselves due to the abuse. So it was supposed to be a story for their betterment, to tell the story of like how bad it is to be trans. But it's like, you know, it's like at Britney Spears, the height of her career before she was doing Knives. You know, she was dancing around naked in the kitchen with knives. You know, it's like that woman being like cast to play like, you know, some knocked out, drug addicted prostitute. You know, it's a completely like, this is not, we can't possibly imagine you in this scenario. So the trans community, though, they were just mad because she had the equipment that he was trying to obtain. She like has that factory built, and they were mad about that. Like, you can't. You're a real woman. He was trying to be a woman. Yeah.
That's a little reminiscent of Boys Don't Cry, which
That has Charlize Theron in it.
You have to understand about the big secret about trans is that you're not supposed to become a man or a woman. You're supposed to be trans. That's the big secret they don't want to tell you. Is you're trans because you're never going to get there.
Right.
They know, then they don't want to. They want to be trans male, trans female. Trans implies you're going somewhere, honey.
This man has no dick.
Quite literally. They cut him off. And in that character from Degrassi's case, they shoot him off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
right in the penis.
Rick shot his dick off. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what
not
happened.
Not our Rick. That there was another Rick from Degrassi that shot his dick off and died.
Just because I'm from Texas doesn't mean I have a gun, all right?
They do look a little different, you know.
As a man who's an expert on self-loathing, do you know how much you have to hate yourself to shoot yourself in the dick?
God.
Well, he was a school shooter, so I mean, he was 9/10 of the way there. That's why it's like
guys will literally shoot themselves in the head before they shoot themselves in the dick. Just throwing it out.
That's how bad off Rick from Degrassi was. He shot himself in the dick. That's like that should be like the principal's like throwing the file up onto the desk. Like he's some burnt out cop, and he's like, he was so far gone, he shot his dick off. How did that happen? How do you get? He's pulling the vodka out of his desk, you know, in school. He's pulling the vodka out of his desk and going, like, how did they get so depressed to shoot your own dick off?
Just hit him with the Vegeta. Why is it always in the dick?
Why does he keep shooting himself in the dick?
We'll a little bit more here.
There
There's
should have been a whole episode in Degrassi. Like everybody just in horror that Rick shot his dick off. should have been a whole episode.
They have a memorial in the
You will
auditorium.
forever be known as the guy who shot himself in the dick and died in the halls of Degrassi.
Yep, that's your fate, bro.
There's your legacy.
Drake rode in a wheelchair. You shot your dick off, buddy.
Always rubbing your dick, Rick.
Is that like part 2 of Jeremy spoke in class today? Instead of shooting himself there, I don't know. I don't want to go there.
That's disgusting.
So there is to be a closed casket ceremony for the dick. It like has a separate casket.
It would definitely have to be closed. No one will see that.
Yeah, if I shot myself in the dick and died, I would have to do closed casket too.
It's a Tupperware thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, what else do we got here? The perceived risk factors in female-led action movies have only intensified the scrutiny around projects such as Furiosa and Ballerina, amplifying negative headlines about the box office totals that were, in the scheme of things, pretty reasonable. Being a straight-to-Netflix release, The Old Guard 2, which, by the way, is getting terrible reviews because the first one fucking sucked too, is somewhat insulated from the studio system's fixation with the box office bottom line. It's almost as if they want to make money there, guy. But Theron nevertheless says the cast and crew were very aware that all eyes were on us. A film like this is not a risk that studios want to take, which is why it's on Netflix. but they take it many times on the same guy who might have a string of movies that did not do so well. Okay, and Charlize Theron.
If I may interrupt for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we might as well just call Netflix the burial ground for shows and movies that were too dog shit to make it on TV.
I mean, they're getting up there with Apple TV. They're both pretty bad at this point.
In fairness, did Apple TV do F1?
Yes.
You remember?
Yeah.
You remember?
And that so far is my best film of the year.
Yeah. And
It's
Killers
been a
of the
little bar,
Flower Moon
though.
a couple years ago, but yeah, they've also struck out a lot with expensive projects, but yeah, they're still finding their footing.
You remember DTF, right? Well, now it's going to be DTN. Are you down for direct to Netflix?
I don't think anyone's gonna be Netflixing and chilling to The Old Guard 2. Like,
No, it's like it's direct to Netflix, right?
No,
direct to
we're gonna
Netflix
be
is stuff nobody's
Instead
going
of
to
direct to video.
We're gonna be Tubi and Luby over here.
Direct to Netflix is more expensive. Honestly.
All right. If Charlize Theron's words ring depressingly true, then there's at least a solace to be taken to the fact that she's acknowledging it. There's no longer room for complacency. The ambly accepted notion that we are marching towards a future that is fair and inclusive. If things are to change, they need to be fought for. That includes action movies. Keep fighting for shit no one wants to watch, guys. Just keep on fighting for it at this point. Why not?
This is something that they do not seem to want to understand. You do not have an equal outcome. You know, just having a female-led action film does not mean that you will have the same success as a male, any more than if you have a male action film that's going to be successful. There are probably a lot of male action-led films that have bombed. I don't understand why they think that, just replace a man with a woman and it's the same thing. And not just action films. I'm reminded of the all-female Ghostbusters. Remember how much that was supposed to change the conversation, and all these men were just sexist for not wanting to see it. I saw it, and I saw it with my late friend Fidel, and we both thought it was absolutely terrible, and we said it wouldn't have been funny with men because it was the script. All right? It was the script.
Yeah. See, here's the joke with that, right? Is that movie made me hate women more. It didn't improve my opinion of women. It turned me into a misogynist.
Oh, I thought it had converted you.
No.
Yeah, into a misogynist. I walked out of that movie disliking women a lot, not the other way around.
But even
don't
picture
worry,
that
for any of you wrestling fans, Evolution 2 is going to be that same way. Like, if you hate this, then you're sexist, which it's also going to flop too. And of course, Kristen Stewart's right there.
Well, I just wanted to point out this is Charlie's Angels. This is the remake that Elizabeth Banks, another talent-free fucking hole behind the camera. But like you have the Charlie's Angels movies that came out in I think it was the 2000s. I never watched them, but they were tremendously successful. And
They
what
were.
were those? Now,
were
I don't know if they
sexy.
were more comedy. I don't know if it was less of an action movie, but those were highly successful. And that's, but again, that's using those oh no, you're showing women being feminine. That's not good. We can't have that. So
you know what? You can go even further. You had the Charlie's Angel TV show that was highly successful,
It was
and
sexy
you
too.
had strong. You had the strong female leads who were also quite beautiful. Nothing wrong with that. You had the Bionic Woman. I mean, you can have female-led action films. Who here does not think that at least the first 2 Alien films are some of the greatest, and men love those movies because they're
Alien
well
is a
made.
horror movie.
I'll tell you the reason why this is going to flop. Jacob, just scroll down a little past their faces.
Just a little bit.
Just a little past their face. That's a picture of a bunch of dudes standing around with the jacket and the pants and the Indian charme over here. Like, it's terrible.
One in the red jacket.
Well, real quick, the reason why I had this up, I wrote this 6 years ago. Apparently, no one listened. But here's a list of female-led action films that didn't do too great. This one, Terminator: Dark Fate, lost about $100 million. There was that film called Anna, lost about $30 million. Men in Black International lost about $50 million here. X-Men: Dark Phoenix lost about $170. Miss Bala, that lost about 15. Black and Blue lost about 10. Alita Battle Angel lost about 53. Tomb Raider lost about 25. Proud Mary lost about 40. The Kitchen lost 16. That was just from 2019 alone.
Well, if you go to the first Tomb Raider, the one with Angelina Jolie, that was successful if memory serves correct, at least financially.
It was sexy.
And there was another movie that you listed there that, I mean, I'd have to see how bad it was. I'm sorry. You'd have to go back to that list. But look, you can make a successful female-led action film. It just has to be good. Just having a woman there does not make it.
Which one?
I think it was one of the first ones. Go to the very first one.
Proud Mary, Battle Angel.
No.
Phoenix, Anna, Terminator.
Okay, look, Terminator was being built on an already long established, though dying franchise. You had a female Terminator, all right, and then you had a Hispanic Terminator, and you know what? They were terrible Terminators because they didn't look like they could kill anyone or destroy anything. The male Terminator looked like he was just handing out hugs, and the female Terminator was not very interesting. You just cannot replace a male with a female and expect the exact same result. The same thing like you had Mad Max, the first one, you had a big hit, and I'm getting told that it was one of the greatest films ever made in the history of all mankind, and I thought, it's okay. And then you said, well, we'll have the same thing with just Furiosa. I think a lot of us saw Furiosa. None of us thought it was good, but too many people still on Film Twitter, Film X, keep going on about, it was robbed. It's one of the great films of our time. It should have gotten 12 Oscar nominations. And I'm going, what film did you see? Seriously, what film did you see? No. And then
you think this is Sinners?
Yeah. I mean, you look at the first. All right, think of the Wonder Woman, the first one with Gal Gadot. That one was a big hit. People loved it. I thought it was one of the best films that year. The second one was terrible. Why? Because they decided I don't know what they decided. You can have a successful female-led action film. It just has to be good. And they don't want to. Because they expect it to be successful merely on the fact that it's female-led. Now,
But
I don't know if the females are going to run to it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, all they're doing is, and I've said this over the last decade over and over again, so I apologize if you heard me say this before, but they're just cannibalizing their own product. They're trying to regurgitate the same effects from a already existing property. The property is called Mad Max. In Mad Max Fury Road, the movie that was successful, albeit incredibly overrated, he's a background character. He's irrelevant. Yep. He's a mute. He's not even the main character in the story, and which is basically a 2-hour NASCAR race that goes in one big fucking circle. So
it would have been
not
more
to mention
successful.
Furiosa, you know what I mean?
No.
And so yeah, the issues is, and we've seen this time again with Dr. Sleep, with the Terminator movies, with hell, they're making an Aliens TV show now after Alien Romulus did whatever, you know what I mean? They just keep cannibalizing the goodwill and value that the public has with that property, and to diminishing results, to diminishing returns. And so you're ruining the relationship the fans have with the product. I mean, we've seen this with Disney. We've seen this with Marvel. We've seen this across the board in the entertainment industry. And unfortunately, they I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, but they don't seem to be able to learn their lesson.
I don't know if they're doing it on purpose as to lose money. I think they're doing it on purpose as in we will force these sexist men to adore all of these female action heroines, even though we keep losing. I mean, we had the Marvels, which didn't do well. That was female led. Remember, in what was it? Was it Endgame, the last semi-good Marvel movie where all the women came out and they were the ones who were going to defeat Thanos?
We're going to help Spider-Man.
Listen,
I don't get the point of this. Besides, why are we asking Charlize Theron anything? We all know that Jennifer Lawrence is the first female action star in all human history, so we need to get her opinion.
Now that you mentioned her, I will give a recommendation for a female-led action movie that I enjoy called Red Sparrow. It's literally Jennifer Lawrence being a spy who either fucks, sleeps, or fucks and sleeps with, or kills. Sorry. Obviously, sex is on my mind. You know,
what a mark.
Yes, that's the whole point. No, but seriously, no, that's a fun action movie. Now, it kind of got lambasted by critics, but that's a fun movie. I don't care. Sue me.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen J-Law naked like in at least 3 movies now. It's not as appealing as you think it is.
Remember when Seth MacFarlane did that "We Saw Your Boobs" number, and she was proud of the fact that she hadn't done any nude scenes. Now, times have changed.
We all got to.
Then Harvey Weinstein got locked up, and the game changed.
Yeah.
Well, let's hop over to this conversation here because I haven't seen the movie yet. So just before you guys ask, I have not seen the new Superman just yet. But I know it's James Gunn, so my expectations are very low. I don't know how he duped a lot of people in our circle into thinking that this movie was going to be good. Now, look, the movie comes out, this week? Maybe it's somewhat decent. Like I said, my expectations are very low. Then again, when I heard his comments this week, I can't say that I'm surprised because I know who James Gunn is. And this is kind of the big problem that I see here. James Gunn, before 2017 is when he got in trouble for his past tweets and whatnot. He was basically just like every other anti-Trump psycho on Twitter going everyone's a Nazi, blah, 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 blah. He was that guy, right? And then he got in trouble for basically making tweets about little boys, and he had to lay low for a little while because he got into trouble with the Disney, who fired him and then brought him back a year later. So he's been in a position where he's had to stay quiet for a few years. And I think a lot of people will think, oh, no, he's changed. He's totally not that guy. He's not. He hasn't changed at all. This is during, the premiere, I guess not too long ago for the Superman movie, which is getting so-so reviews at the moment. Like I said, we'll check it out later and tell you if it sucks or not. But yeah, he was going out there and did an interview with the UK Times in London. Basically said that this new iteration of Superman film is going to be pro-immigrant and all about kindness, and screw them to anyone who doesn't like that. Because Superman is a story about immigration. Am I right, guys? Because Superman is just an immigrant just like everybody else, right?
No. Did he not see the movie? Was it 1977 where they put him in a spaceship as a baby before Krypton exploded? That's not what refugees do. That's what refugees do. That's not what immigrants do.
You telling me that Mexicans don't come from Neptune? Is that what you were telling me?
Some of my cousins, I don't know. Some of my cousins, I wonder about.
They come from your ass.
Oh, there definitely are. They said that the director says the tale of Superman is the story of America because it's an alien from outer space. Kal-El is an immigrant that came from other places and populated the country, but for me is mostly a story about basic human kindness and the value of something that we have lost. Why is it so hard to just make a movie about truth, justice, and the American way? Like it's literally already written for you. You have an outline for this character already in the bag. Why is it so hard to just follow the plot?
I have a question. It said, the director says that the tale of Superman is the story of America, but you cannot say truth, justice, and the American way. It has to be truth, justice, and all that stuff from Superman Returns, or truth, justice, and the human way in this movie. And let me just say, the human way sometimes can be rather horrible. So I don't understand.
This is what happens when you have people in charge of Superman who hate America.
Yeah, but it can't be the story of America, and you can't say truth, justice, and the American way, which is what is said in the 77 version. Because again, and I've said this before, the makers of that movie, the 77 version, they said we can't be smarter than the material. We have to take it seriously.
Imagine if we had let like a hick from like Alabama write like a Captain America movie. Like imagine if we just did that. Just to let them just make like the most obnoxious pro-American movie you could possibly think of. Like, well, wouldn't that be great? No. And yeah, I mean, all superheroes in some way or form have some kind of xenotype of Jesus Christ. I mean, that's been a thing for forever.
Well, I mean, it could also be the story of Moses, if you think about it, because Moses, like Superman, was also sent away as a child and was adopted into another home. It's certainly not the Kents were not Pharaoh-like, but it does have some parallels.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because Siegel and Schuster, the original creators of Superman, acknowledged that Moses' origin story plays a big role in how Clark comes to arrive on Earth.
Right here. It says, yes, it's about politics, the head said, but at another level, it's about morality. Do you never kill no matter what, which is what Superman believes. It's like, do you have some balance, as Lois believes? It's really about their relationship and the different opinions and basic moral beliefs that tear the two apart. Now, I think recently he kind of attempted to walk some of these comments back a little bit because, like I said, a lot is riding on this Superman movie being a success. And I think that's probably why that, Gunn has been as reserved as he has been over the last couple, because they know that the Warner Brothers needs this, whatever they're doing with the DC universe, to be a success, because if this doesn't succeed, everything is going to fall apart, and it's going to fall apart pretty hard, right? So, they think what happened was that was like, what was it? Variety had came off, and they described it as the MAGA backlash, because apparently there was a MAGA backlash to Gunn's comments or something like that, and he kind of tried to dismiss the whole thing. He says, "I don't have 81. I think that the movie is for everyone. I don't have anything to say. I'm not here to judge people. This movie is about kindness, and I think that's something that everyone could relate to." So the fact that, Variety tried to get him on the hook with, so what do you think about MAGA? We all know we all know James Gunn is very, very anti-Trump. We know that James Gunn is very, very anti-Trump supporter. None of this is breaking news to us. But like I said, he's trying his best to be a good boy because he knows that quite literally his future and his reputation depends on this movie being a success. And then again, that's just on the emphasis of this being a good movie. And from what we've heard so far, that might not be the case. But then you also have his idiot brother going out there basically saying that, yeah, this is a pro-immigration film, right? Because ICE. Oh, he'll be back. He'll be back in a second. He always comes back. If you don't like immigrants, then you're not American. That was what Sean Gunn said here. It says, we support our people. We love our immigrants. And yes, Superman is an immigrant. And yes, the people that we support in this country are immigrants. And if you don't like that, then you're not American. To the people who say no to immigrants, you're against the American way. And this is what American Dream is all about.
What is he going on about?
He's going on against the MAGA backlash, Rick.
No, but Superman is not about truth, justice, and the American way. So why is he even quoting that line about if you are no to immigrants, you're against the American way? This movie can't even say truth, justice, and the American way. So what is he going on about?
Mm-hmm. It's a story about America. It's just not about the American way. That's what we're doing here with this whole situation. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll withhold my full wrath until I've actually seen this movie. But like I said, my expectations about James Gunn and this movie were never very high to begin with. I mean, look, it is what it is. I don't know why people thought that the Guardians of the Galaxy movie was far better than it actually was. It was very, very mediocre to me. Some people gave that film way too much credit. Some people have way too much faith that James Gunn's going to be the one that saves DC because we hate Zack Snyder so much. We got to go all in on James Gunn. It's like, dude, it's a clown show no matter who's in charge. You just happen to have a bigger clown in charge now. That's really what it comes down to. Eddie, you left, so you get to go first. What are your thoughts on Superman?
I always liked Superman. Christopher Reeve is actually the best Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amen.
yeah, and what else? I'm not a fan of James Gunn. I think he's a hack. Not the worse than Zack the Hack Snyder, but pretty bad. And I just hope he tries to do a really good job. I'm probably not going to watch the movie when in theaters. I'm probably going to wait until it's streaming for 7 months and I can get it from Vladimir Putin's websites.
I mean, I can just give you Vladimir Putin websites if you want. Just talk.
Yeah. And
not that we endorse that kind of thing here, because we would never do anything like that.
Of course not. Of course
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, who we think you are, Iranians? Okay, come on, guys.
I mean, I see what Rooftop Korean saying in the chat about bait, the people asking the questions. It's a bait thing on the red carpet. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, that's what they do. But you could also refrain or not answer their question, or because I mean, here's the reality is that a portion of your audience is people who voted for Donald Trump. So it's like you're kind of giving them a reason to not give you money. And that's a problem when, Hollywood is kind of in the middle of a great collapse. And there's a lot riding on this for James Gunn. There has been the last couple of years when he was announced as the president of DCU, and, he was going to take over, and Blue Beetle, I think, was the first movie under his leadership. And, you all know how that worked out. And, look, Superman is a biggie. Superman, actually, to me, for all my comic book reading as a kid, and I mean, I was never a big fan, but he's an iconic hero. He's an iconic character. I mean, I am kind of amazed that he's always number 2 at DC just because of the name and Batman. And I was always a Batman fan, number 1, like growing up. That was just my character, and I kind of always made fun of Superman every chance I got, being a Boy Scout, and just, oh, great. He's the best. He's the best embodiment of, what we hope to be, basically. It's like, ugh, give me a break. But a lot of people love that. A lot of people find great meaning and a lot of value in that character and what he represents to them. And they at least deserve an earnest portrayal of a heroic character, of somebody that's willing to sacrifice himself to save others, to do what's right. All of those wonderful things that came out of Action Comics in the late 30s, and why Superman is still an iconic symbol, character, archetype, all these wonderful things when it comes to heroic storytelling. And, the movie could be good, right? Probably not, considering the types of reviews.
It's open so far at 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, the question is, why is it at 91% on Rotten Tomatoes? Is it because it's a great Superman movie, or it's because it's hitting on the people that James Gunn doesn't like?
We can't trust those early reviews because they're always very ebullient, and they're always very positive. So let's curtail the jubilation here.
Okay, but look at actual critics. It's been a lot of lukewarm stuff to come out. There's a few glowing reviews, but to me, it's too consistent in what people are saying and how much of it's a mess, how much of the terrible jokes every 5 minutes that fans,
which is typical James Gunn.
So I listen. I'm going to go see it on Friday. I need to get my headlight changed, so I got to kill some time. But I'll go see it and I'll give my honest review. If it's a good movie, that is what I always want going into a movie theater. I never want to go into a movie being like, this is gonna suck. that's going to be sweet. It's like, no, it's like, I never want to be disappointed. It's just that most of the time I that's what ends up happening.
You should always go in with the most optimistic sense and say this is going to be a good film. But again, let's go back to the original, the Christopher Reeve version, the first one. Why is it still good? Why is it still beloved? Why is it considered one of the best comic book adaptations? Because they took the premise seriously. They did not try to make it silly or jokey. Yes, you could have funny moments in it, but they got everything right there. They got the best actors for it. They got Mario Puzo to write the screenplay, or at least an adaptation. And they took the premise serious. Again, they decided they were not going to think they were better. A lot of the modern makers for these comic book films do either have contempt for the audience or for the properties. Or they want to do this, where they want to say, oh, we're going to enlighten the viewers. People do not go to these comic book movies or any movies to be enlightened or to be changed. They go there to be entertained. You can enlighten them. You can educate them if that's what you want to do. But that's the whole purpose of the movie. It's not going to work. Now, I'm really going to see this movie this weekend too. And I'll see if it's good or bad. I know that one of my favorite critics, of course, loved it. But you can't expect to say things like, "Oh, this movie's about politics," and say, "Yes, come see our movie," and you're going to be lectured. Basically, how do you bring an audience when you tell them we're going to lecture you and we're going to tell you how awful you are for not agreeing with us? And no, for the record, Superman is not an immigrant because he did not come here willingly. He was sent here. All right. So the most you could say possibly is that he could be, quote, a dreamer, but he's not an immigrant. And for the record, he actually is different from a lot of the protesters because, as some people pointed out, he actually has assimilated and considers himself thoroughly American. He puts, he puts the U.S. first. It's not like he's, oh yeah, I'm going to cheer on Krypton. I'm going to wave a Kryptonian flag and I'm going to do protest.
I'll say
it would be awesome
too.
though if he did burn down a cop car though, just for Kryptonian pride.
I'll say this here too, just real quick, because look, we all get it. Everyone's crashing out over the ICE raids and stuff like this, and I feel the reason why I don't really want to engage with this topic is because I personally feel like we're right back where we are in 2016, having this stupid conversation that we've gone through 1,000 times already. Like, we're back in the first Trump administration, where all of a sudden. Everyone's treating illegal immigrants like, oh no, they just migrated here and just want to live like a normal life and all that stuff. It's like, look, I get it. You don't want to acknowledge it that there's a difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. The fact of the matter is there is. So look, I'm not going to sit here and like shed tears for people just because you got away with it for 20 years doesn't mean that we should just give you a pass and allow you to continue to get away with it. Because look, at the end of the day, that screws over all the people who did go through the proper channels and waited years to be called an American citizen while you've just been essentially in hiding for 20 years, didn't even bother to learn the language while you were here, any of that stuff. So it's like, look, the reason why this is so frustrating for me is, like I said, it feels like we're just right back where we were in 2016, and I'm having the exact same arguments with people as if somehow we haven't had this conversation, is this distinction. And I go back to something that Tucker Carlson said, and I know Tucker Carlson's not the greatest person right now, especially with the Iran stuff, but what he said was pretty strong when he mentioned this. It's like, look, if essentially the difference between politics was just making the best argument and then coming to a resolution based on that, then that would be great. But the fact that we still haven't done that after all of these years means that for some people, it's not about making the best argument. It's not about what makes sense or what's actually true. It's just about emotion. And as long as people's emotions are high, nothing else really matters at that point, which means that trying to reason with people who are emotional is literally just a complete and utter waste of time. And I know Cider has something here. Oh, this should be good. Oh, wait, I have to remove my stuff first because StreamYard sucks now.
Well, it's like we posted earlier. He's not an enigma. This isn't a Da Vinci Code to understand. And I just generated some pictures of classic Superman serving pancakes to firefighters. And this is what they came up with. And I said, classic Superman having coffee with policemen during sunrise. And this is what it came up with. And I said, classic Superman saving a cat from a tree and returning it to a ginger girl. There it is.
Which he did in the Superman movie, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And so there he is taking a selfie with Lady Liberty. And I would imagine the quote would be, "Looking good today, ma'am."
Mm-hmm.
And that, again, like, it's not hard to do this. These should be the opening scenes to every Superman movie. He's just an American hero. He's not supposed to be vulnerable. He's not supposed to be some emotional roller coaster for people to get their angst at their father out, okay? He is the aspirational man that we never are supposed to obtain. Superman is not supposed to be like us. That's the point of him. Yeah. We are supposed to chase behind him and try to obtain his super morality.
Yep. But even then, that's just like the simplicity of the Superman character, right? Even if you're not even looking for that, like, just fast forward to the part where Superman punches Doomsday in the face. Like, give me what I like. Like, stop trying to insert your emotional meltdowns into these film stories where it's got to be like, well, we got to show that Superman's just an immigrant. Like, all the people getting arrested by, like, stop. Just stop. Just get to the point where Superman punches Doomsday in the face, some small green rock makes him weak, and then he has to come back from behind like John Cena. It's like, that's all anyone truly cares about. Stop with this whole, we need to put our real life issues into... No, we fucking don't. Stop it.
But see, it doesn't even work. It doesn't work, though, because it's like Superman does what's right. Illegal immigrants literally don't. They literally break law to come to this country. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're undercutting your own political ideology by being like, hey, these people are just like Superman. It's like,
no, Superman coming here from Krypton is exactly the same thing as Enrique coming here from the Honduras and stabbing some poor 14-year-old girl in the heart. Like, it's the exact same thing. They're the exact same people.
See, Enrique doesn't eat pancakes, for God's sake.
I just want to say,
I go back to, again, the first Superman movie where, again, they kept it relatively simple. What does he do? He wants to save what is he? He's gonna Lex Luthor's gonna blow up 2 coasts simultaneously. So that has that moral quandary. Look at Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, where they decided to put in politics. He was going to talk about nuclear disarmament. What happened? You got one of the worst films. It was just unbelievably bad. Yeah, some of the things were beyond his control. It was a low budget. It was poorly made. But Christopher Reeve, bless his heart, decided that he was going to put in an anti-nuclear armament, a nuclear freeze message in it. And what happened? The audience rejected it. And I think he even recognized later on that it was a mistake. The people just do not want to learn that you don't need to put in politics into these movies, because people are not going to care.
And real quick, Neozoic, just real quick, it's like for those type of movies, those are usually people who are looking for a specific niche. For, like I said, if you want to talk about real world issues, or you want comics that explore that, there are comics for that. They're not Superman though. Like, Watchmen and Superman are not the same medium or the same audience. Just put
Watchmen's a satire. Literally, Watchmen is a satire of superhero comic books.
Well, not the TV show, which dealt with.
I'm just saying the original Alan Moore graphic novel. That's what it was.
So, I just want to make it known there that, like I said, Superman's not difficult. He's not a Rubik's cube of a character.
Unless you hate America.
Yeah, I guess. But again, so V for Vendetta isn't even a political story, because if you tear that back, it's just a story of rebellion. That's a fictional England in a fictional universe that had fictional political problems that boiled over into a fictional resolution that involved blowing up fucking the Old Bailey. So, that was how they fixed things. So that, Watchmen has its political elements, but it's in a fictional United States of America where Richard Nixon turned into a 180 degrees different person than he ever was in real life. And nobody talks about this. He was the most popular president since World War II. Even Ike wasn't as popular as Nixon.
Right.
Nobody talks about that.
Because he got the Chinese vote.
Yeah. And then somebody recorded some crazy bullshit that he said, and ta-da, he's the worst guy that ever guyed. And that's the thing.
The fact that here we are, 50 years later, and we still pretend like Watergate was like this massive scandal based on everything else that's come out about our country over the last 50 years. It's like it's really telling.
One of the dullest movies is All the President's Men. That is all I'm going to say on that one.
It is boring as shit.
Yep.
You have again, so Superman is not difficult with this in that you have a guy where these writers stumble, I'm going to be honest with you, is they don't understand what a nice man is. They know what a nice boy is. He's obedient. He does what he's told. He stays out of the way and he's quiet, takes his Ritalin. Nice boy, But they don't know what a nice man is. They can't fathom a man trying to stop a suicide by hugging the person that is jumping. They can't fathom that. They don't understand what a man would gain from doing that. And it's not because they are men and they're self-centered. It's because they exist in an environment that tells them men are evil, that men have no virtuous aspirations, no soul, no compassion, and that we are simply driven by the chemical need to breathe.
I'll play this here real quick. I mean, sure, why not?
I would just like to point out that the best Superman movie that has to deal with politics is always going to be Rocky IV.
Yeah. The robot. Yep.
Yep.
Look at this. This is Superman right here.
I have these. I own these. DVDs of them.
No, not 21.
I sure.
Just get to the point where Superman punches the robots. Can we just get that? Is that too much to ask?
Well, here you go. That was one of the reviews, though, Jacob, is that the movie is so nonstop action, you don't know what the fuck is going on through most of it. It just punches you into other scenes, apparently.
Yeah. Well, real quick before we move on here to our closing point, I did mention earlier how WWE set a new record low for Raw on Netflix. The good news is it wasn't the only record low they set this week. SmackDown also drew a record low. The show that's been on since 1999 drew its lowest viewership ever last Friday. 1.1 million viewers for SmackDown. Lowest rating in 26 years.
Yeah, but it was a holiday.
Lowest rating ever, which means that including all the holidays that has ever happened in the last 26 years, this is the worst it's ever done.
Actually, you would have thought that if it was a holiday, you would have higher ratings because there would be more people watching.
Right.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah,
I get you.
Things are going great for WWE right now. Crackheads are breaking into people's homes. The ratings are down. Women's pay-per-views not selling. It's just great.
Everyone just go and please subscribe and YouTube the WWE Vault. Actually, we should if you want to do a comparison on that, I bet you the ratings are huge on that because they just released all the Omni footage from 1986.
I just want to point out, just in case for reference, in case you guys forgot, this is the same show that Fox paid $1 billion for about 8 years ago. Oof. That's all I can say there. But yeah. Well, let's go ahead and end the show with just a little bit of fun. Who here has ever watched Slamball before? All those hands.
Is that the trampoline basketball thing where it's not a trampoline, but the floor? It's like a.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I've seen this before. Yeah, it's
literally trampoline. It's one of the weirdest enigmas in like the last 25 years. So Spike TV, if you guys recall, it was like 2003. The Nashville network rebranded itself to Spike TV, and they wanted to be hip and cool for the 18 to 34 male demographic. So you got shows like Gary the Rat and Stripperella and all these other shows they were trying to entice that demographic with. And then they said, hey, you know what? Let's do Slamball. Let's combine basketball with trampolines where the slam dunks are worth 3 points. And we'll just make a game out of it. And it was on for a little while, and it never really peaked. But the concept has been so interesting that no matter how many times it fails, somebody always tries to bring it back because they say, hey, remember Slamball? Remember when Slamball was a thing? and then they just keep doing. So I think even today there's some iteration of Slamball out there that still exists, but this was the original one back in 2003, and I guess we can go ahead and watch the absolute shit show that this event was. Here's one of the games here. It's the Steel versus the Rumble. So enjoy Slamball.
Why is it named Steel that way?
Yeah, who knows? Well, I mean, look, they are African American. Just throw that out there.
The Steel and
we
the
are back
Rumble.
at Slamball, ready for the second game of our doubleheader. The Steel against the powerhouse Rumble squad. Pay close attention to Dion Mays at the stopper position. Big Duke Nasty average 8 blocks a game in the preseason.
Dion Mays,
Coach
Mays,
Carter
Mays,
became a national
Dion
celebrity
Mays.
as a high school
Hey,
coach.
Richmond.
Slamball. More on that later.
That's Ken Carter.
The Steel
Yeah.
is led by
Okay.
an aerial connection of handler Michael Goldman and Stan Fletcher, who may be the best
Yes, even
all-around
in
gunner in the
Slamball,
game.
there's white boys playing.
Coach
in
they have
Brian
that white
Taylor
guy in
knows
there?
his talent, a former NBA player and ex-teammate of Dr. J.
We get ready for the bounce off. The Steel in gold, the Rumble in green. These two teams met twice in the preseason, and the Rumble won both meetings easily.
Pat, the Rumbles, they're just good. They have a balanced scoring attack. They play tough D, and Dion Mays has established himself as the game's
By the way,
premier
this is
stopper.
before CTE.
We're about to get underway with the game with the bounce off.
The
bounce
off.
Up the goal.
How'd it go the other way?
Baseline.
Goldman goes behind the basket.
I'm
to
done
set the
with
play
this.
in the space behind the
This is a
basket
really
is
good way to
extended just like
dislocate your
hockey.
hip.
White out.
Your
Your
hip, your knee, your
It
ankle.
blows my mind how some guys go up and just ham.
Goldman with the ball, feeds it out to Jones in the outside corner, launches
Good.
it, drains it.
That was kind of
That was
impressive, but not really amazing.
The 3 points for the slam ties the score. Janice with the ball, lots of pressure.
There we go. All
Jones with the
right.
ball.
Come on, Dijonais.
Goldman comes in, but blocked
White
by
man.
Mays.
Oh, that's great
white guy
timing
head
by
drop.
Mays. He doesn't just go to swipe the ball. He blankets the rim. He grew up playing nose tackle, so he understands.
Damn, this
blocking.
looks pretty sick.
Goldman with the ball, nice spin by Goldman.
I don't think we'll
Mays
ever
is there,
have a
Goldman up,
Malice in the
over.
Palace
Little boot floater would have been two, but it's gone.
Oh, Duke Nasty. Goldman had been
Yeah,
that
no, the
intimidated
protective glass
since his
makes sure
bar
there won't be
mitzvah.
no malice in the
Janice on the
palace
left,
situation
wide,
happening.
coming cross court.
Oh my gosh.
Denise gives White the easy one.
I'm going to call that the alley out. Look at that.
Because it's out.
Oh!
Yeah, it's more exciting than lesbian ball, that's for sure.
He goes straight up at the rim and brings it down from the strong side.
We are tied up here
Dijonais at the
early.
Caitlin Cross of
Sloppy
this
scramble
region.
for the ball. Steele ripped the ball out. 2-on-1 break. Cross court. Reed from the left tramp. No! But there's Jones to clean up the miss for
Okay,
two.
all right, I'll
And
go with that,
Jones
yeah,
with
that's
5
all right.
early points. Charles Mason now in for the Rumble.
That's gotta be
Mason
gold.
gets
Oh.
leveled by Jones right there.
Is that a shoulder tackle?
Yeah, that guy just got laid out.
Nothing is easy here tonight.
Here comes Fletcher.
Are there any rules of this, like, at all?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Pat, watch Fletcher's
No.
off arm as he goes
Where'd he
in.
get the
He
nightstick
pushes
from?
Mays off.
Right now, let's go down to Jamie Little for an update.
This is
Michael
like
Goldman
the
basically
NFL
got
blitz of
straddled
basketball.
by Dion Mays,
Right.
huge guy. Therefore, Michael's face went straight into the trampoline, knocked him over.
This
He
feels
fell over, but
oddly
he got cleared. He's gonna be
voyeuristic,
back.
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that camera angle is a
Goldman,
little
one of
too
those
much.
original
You guys ever seen the movie
Four
Rollerball?
of those guys playing
Yeah.
in this
I
game.
love that
Goldman
movie.
Yeah,
and
the
Sheridan
original's
for the
actually pretty
steal,
good.
And Willis
James
and
Conn.
Redmond for the Rumble.
Yeah.
Mays to beat the
Oh,
shot clock.
I've not seen it, but I know
Reno
John House
sinks
was
it
in
for
it.
3 from nearly half
That's
court.
what we should try to get next is
We've
roller
got a
jam.
timeout on the floor. Stay right here. The Steal with an early lead on the
Good,
Rumble.
Free
Thinking
pictures of the
upset.
running man.
It's amazing how enthusiastic some people can get over things like this.
3:35 left to go in the first half. The Rumble trailing by 2. The Steel defense holding the Rumble machine thus far to 9 points.
Pat, this is a team that averaged 52
The white
points
boy
in
has not been
preseason.
very impressive so
Steele,
far.
cross-court pass.
Nah,
Reed
no.
puts up the 3. Sheridan with
Oh
the
my
missed
God,
opportunity. And right now, here comes White.
He's a token
Trying
player.
to
Is
get
that
the
what you're
Rumble on
saying?
track. What was that?
Oh, White threw the ball
That
at
was
the edge
okay.
of the
That was
backcourt, reaches back behind the goat, stretches his whole body out to get the 2.
Yeah, just a routine bucket in slam ball. Look at that, though. Sheridan answers a +1 from 3.
They're still really shooting the ball from the trifecta.
Here's White for the Rumble. Good.
I wonder. I mean, how much would season
Steele with possession.
These are free, Rick. Come on, these are free.
Gosh.
Lots of pressure so far from the Rumble. In with the drive. Here comes
Look at that.
Mays,
Look at the
denied
seating.
his fourth
Look
block
at
of the
this.
night. And Sheridan on the island. Out to Fletcher, and Fletcher.
I'm pretty sure everyone had to sign a waiver before they were allowed to play this game.
Everyone's doing extra work.
White challenging Grogan on that again. This time blocked.
We will not pay your
Stoppers
medical
doing the job.
expenses.
Who's going to cave in first, Grogan or Mays?
All I kept thinking of is
And right
this
now,
something
tie
like
up in the
basketball?
tramp. And the defense always gets the held ball in this game.
Yeah, what does the
And
ref
I like
do?
that rule because it incentivizes the defense to go
apparently
for
he doesn't
tie-up.
tackle
The
people
offense
in
can't
this
sit on
game,
the ball. They have to keep it moving.
We are ticking down into the first half. Sheridan puts up the three, but no good. But that was some great offense. Sheridan and White get tangled up in Bavarian pretzel.
Do you think
of
they
sorts.
practice?
Going for the loose ball. Sheridan playing the innocent,
I
but
would
he
hope.
definitely grabbed White's leg there.
I would hope.
Yeah, I don't think you want to get in a fist
And
fight
that'll
on
bring
the
our first
trampoline.
face off of
That's
this
not-
game. And White goes against the tough veteran, Jeff Sheridan.
Slasher? What the hell does that mean?
Sheridan, 5'11".
How do you not end up with a concussion?
That's a train wreck.
Exactly.
What
The
a
trampoline
finish
head
at the
protection,
rim. 3
kinda?
points ties the game at 17 per. Rumble get the ball back after the penalty, looking to convert.
See, that's where you take the 2 points, but you put an elbow in the
Mays
face
to
with
the
it.
basket, and the big man showing us how
Honestly,
well
this
he
looks
moves
more
on the
entertaining
offense.
than
Rumble
actual
take the
NBA.
lead. Right now, the steal
Yeah,
with the
that's
ball.
what
LeBron on a trampoline and see how
Grogan
this
from the
goes.
left
And he
side.
flop all over the place. He kept
Inside,
bouncing all over
Dion
the
Mays
trampolines.
doing it on both ends. Rumble on the break, out to White. Whitney White, master there.
Oh, now that's a
Boom shot.
And the NBA would
Look at
never
the
allow
extension.
anyone to do like a 3-point tackle on
No.
LeBron.
White with the 17-point stand. Fletcher loses the handle. White comes in. No, doesn't
I'm surprised
make it.
China isn't doing
Gets the
this.
ball back, passes out to Janice.
They do have a version of this, but it's with ping pong.
And a scramble for the ball. Jones
I'd
Oh.
rather have.
hustles it down
I'd
in
rather
the
Slam
have
corner.
pong.
this.
Out
Yeah.
to goal.
Yeah.
I'd
Just
rather
back
have
in the game.
this
Great
than
team passing with just 30 seconds left in the half.
Amy.
Jones into the right tramp.
Court.
No good.
Skateboarding.
Goldman, though, sneaks in from behind and a follow jam on that.
Pat, he's obviously feeling better.
Goldman with a nice hustle play. Another rip for the steal.
Look, he went to the
Goldman,
white eye.
Damn it, white guy.
but gets up with the jump.
Oh,
no good.
come on.
Just 10 seconds to go in the first half. Rumble out to White.
No, good
Closing
job.
and finishing.
I
White
got-
with 20. First half points and the Rumble's lead at halftime.
White.
Whitey
26 to 20.
Whitney. It's Whitney.
Nah, that's Whitney White. That's who that
Well,
was.
okay.
His name's White Mike.
Yeah. White
Welcome
Mike.
back, everyone, once again to Slamball. The Rumble lead the steal.
This is our friend White
26-20.
Mike.
It's
But he's
interesting.
black.
The combination of skills we're seeing at work.
It's not
on
the white
floor.
guy.
Well, Pat, just on the
Yeah, it's
skills
not
team
the white
alone,
guy.
You have a football player,
And the
a
white
gymnast,
guy's name
and
is
a
Craig.
UCLA track star.
We are underway with the second half. And Fletcher darts into the slam zone. Blocked by Mays.
Oh, that was
Pat,
nice.
by the way, I heard Stan Fletcher's credit some of his
the
skills
audience
to
are like
skateboarding when
family
he was
members
young.
or
I don't know where he
friends,
grew up because where I grew up, it was climbing
And these are
fences
people
and
who
running
they
from
literally
gangs.
told, hey, look, we're filming a new show on Spike
Now, though, the
TV.
Rumble
Just sit down and watch the game.
continues to
We talk about when he grew up.
Fletcher
When I
pulls
grew
up
up
for
in
two.
my
No.
basketball days, we used trampolines
Oh, nice
the
hustle
real
by
way.
To Jones. Picking up the
I remember that
scraps
one
and
time I
putting
shoulder
together a
tackled
meal
a
on
guy
that.
at half court.
I remember
And the
when
Rumble lead is down to
Akeem
3, and the
Olajuwon
Raiders
elbowed
looking
me in
out
the
of sync
face
on both ends
after
right now.
falling down a trampoline.
I see what
The
happened.
steal with another rip and a chance to tie.
Look
it and move
around
it up
you.
court.
No
Over to
sponsors.
Goldman. Goldman to
Oh.
Fletcher. Up, under.
That's why this didn't take off.
There you go.
Everybody looked at that and they were like, I don't need to be associated with that insurance adjustment waiting to happen.
And a rattle.
No,
Rumble
the
right now,
NBA
looking
called
to
Mountain
regain the
Dew.
lead.
It was like, you better fucking not.
I fucking catch you anywhere near this.
But you know this should be a Red Bull sport.
Oh, yeah.
They sponsor those
This
idiots
is-
building danger bikes.
This is definitely like a Monster Bang Energy sport.
Oh,
call it-
man.
They sponsored a guy jumping off the moon.
No,
Mr.
I
Beast.
called it- They
And
called it
Goldman
the
fires it
tramp.
from the corner.
They called it the tramp.
Yeah.
That's a
You're
nice
bouncing
stroke.
off the tramp.
And the
Then
Rumble
you
is
know how
starting to come apart at
strange
the
that
seams.
sounds?
Yep.
Rumble over to Mason. He'll take the 3.
Okay, I can see why the white guy's bad at mechanics. His name is Goldstein, so.
There it
is. Shooting jumpers, they got to establish themselves on the inside.
Golden side clamp, 3-8.
Oh, so nice.
Oh my gosh.
12-0 run by the Steel to start the second half.
Wow. That's pretty cool when there's a trampoline involved there. That's some good ass timing, man.
They needed that.
Had the Rumble jacking up every jumper inside.
Sorry,
They've already built one
tramp.
brick house.
Tramp.
They're looking to do another one. The Steel making sneaky plays.
He did the 4-square spinner ball thing. Did you see that? He did the spinner ball thing.
This is not the preseason team we saw. And a scramble for the ball.
This could have worked.
White.
Oh,
Now
yeah,
Janice.
easily.
Janice to the hoop.
Why isn't Elon doing this instead of fighting Trump?
Yeah,
exactly.
We don't need an America party. We need a Slamball party.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure we can get Coors Light to sponsor. They'll sponsor anything.
There is a highly successful marijuana dispensary somewhere that would love to place their logo all over this.
I would place my logo over this.
This seems like something Stacker 2 would be involved with.
Stacker 2 comes back. Look, it's yellow and red. It's everywhere. Stacker 2 brings you Slamball 2025.
White takes a shot.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Too many outside shots.
Right. What's the female demographic going to think of this?
Jones pacing it out right now.
Yeah, fuck esports. I want to see more of this.
Putback slam.
Even the coach is like, don't break your neck. Don't break your neck. Please don't break your neck.
Or your ankle.
The last guy this fucking guy hired, coach was high schoolers.
Every time one of these guys goes down on their back, everybody holds their breath.
I can imagine
That's so
when
soft.
these
Mays
players
up high.
it's like
Can't handle
make
the
the
soft
NBA,
one over the
but
lip.
The Rumble down 8.
There's some producer in the back right now going, please no compound fractures, please no compound fractures.
Exactly. Look at that.
That's amazing.
Rumble down 5 now. Mays pushes Fletcher out of the way and steals the ball.
This is like hockey and basketball and trampolines at the same time.
So I was gonna say this reminds me of basketball.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, are you kidding me? Another jump shot. Somebody break
Speaking of Trey
Janice's
Parker,
Let's be honest, if it
arm.
wasn't for like
Play from the
Nike
inside
and
out,
Adidas,
not
we probably
outside
have
in.
like 7 more sports that would have been
They're not wearing Nike. They're not wearing Nike or Adidas though. They're wearing Fila.
Oh no, Reed again.
Oh, nice second effort, but look, 2 men in a tramp by the
These
Rumble.
Under Armour
That's the
these
third
Under Armour
man
shorts are
trapped by
fantastic.
the Rumble tonight. This team is
This league is sponsored by New Balance.
Shooting jumpers, they are not playing their game.
And one.
And the referee's calling 2 in the tramp again on the Rumble. That is the 3rd time in the second half they have had a communication breakdown, costing them a possession.
Communication breakdown.
Wait, there's actually rules to this game?
Right now,
Yeah.
They'll
let you punch a dude in the face, but 2 guys can't be on a trampoline at the same time.
You cannot have any mistakes like that. If they
That's when you
want
see
to
the
3-second
trampoline
violation.
cheerleaders.
We'll turn it on any moment here. Mays on offense.
Oh yeah, we need the basketball cheerleaders on other
On
trampolines.
trampolines outside.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
that'd be awesome.
The cheerleaders need to be doing trampoline bullshit. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you going to have a camera?
They have the same odds of breaking their neck too.
Timon has a great idea. You see this? Do the WNBA like this. That's right. That's right. Oil those girls up, then send them up in the air.
We're going to get lingerie models and trampolines.
Victoria's Secret Slam Ball 2025. I'm down.
Absolutely.
This guy led the team in scoring in preseason.
We gotta be careful though. There might be fat acceptance, so the trampolines might not have to. We have to be double marked.
There's the one in the wheelchair.
Helga's nickname is Earthquake.
Fletcher on the wing. Where's he gonna go?
What we need is to get these guys to do a reunion game.
Starsky and Hutch combination to extend
That's
the
a
steal
below
lead
double
to
D,
6.
exactly.
The Starsky and Hutch combination.
And the Rumble in
My
a heap
God,
of
what kind of
trouble right now.
references are these?
Almost loses the ball there, Mays.
That was a
Brings
trick.
around Fletcher.
Oh,
gets caught up going into the tramp.
Oh, we got an injury.
He got
There we go.
going
Wow.
into the
Yeah,
trap.
he gets out the
No
front.
contact. Wait a minute, there's a rule?
Entering the
Where
trap,
the hell does
and the
rule
Rebel
come
Stopper
from?
is down.
He got caught up
Patrick
going into
Mays
the
can go.
trap.
This would be huge. Mays 6 foot 8, Reed only 5.
So some producers screaming, "He signed the waiver! He signed the waiver!"
Down by just 3.
Not David Mays.
Tie the score.
Ooh.
Stop.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm gonna go buy Marcus Reed's jersey for that one. Damn
No,
the
you're
ball.
not, man.
Go
Stop.
straight for his body, little fella. Oh, he refused to let him get to the rim.
It's desperation.
We don't
time
have
now for the
licensed
Rebels.
jerseys in this
They don't
league.
even sell his jersey.
Scrambling for the loose ball.
You got 25
And
seconds.
comes up with it.
That's disgusting.
Into the white guy.
This is pitiful.
Coming down to it. In the air. No,
Garbage
no
time.
shot.
This game is over.
The game is over. 10 seconds left. Kenny did.
Oh, damn it, white boy!
Jesus himself denying the white
Why
man.
not? They've been kicking
it's
their ass
over.
all night. They're
You're
still
done.
kicking their ass.
Superman when you need him.
That is time. They did it. The Steel shocked the heavily favored Rumble in the season opener. What a great win for the Steel and a dramatic setback for the Rumble's playoff.
I didn't even know
world
you could play
champions?
basketball
Let's
and
check in with
do-rags.
Jamie Little,
Look,
Coach
the
Brian
white
Taylor.
guy still won.
Brian Taylor, what was the key to winning tonight?
I think the key
Going
was that
into
we
the
got
trap.
loose balls
That
in
was
the second half. A lot of loose balls. and
What
the
was
guys
the
had a
key
lot
to
of
winning tonight?
determination.
Gravity.
And they executed well.
Gravity was the key to winning.
And we had a great
No,
job by
the key to
Rob
winning was
Griffin
going
as
into
a
the
stopper
trap.
to block a lot of
We
shots.
probably would have won by war if the white boy actually made a
job
couple
tonight.
buckets every now and then.
Did you miss the trampolines, bitch? Did you miss the trampolines? Those are the keys to victory.
Stan Fletcher
had a white guy
shakes forward in 20 points against one of the best defenses in the league. And with the
Jacob,
game on the line,
why are we
What
just watching
exactly
this
is-
stuff all the time? Like, come on.
I didn't know that Slamball was going to be such a hit here.
This is great. Is there like 100 of these?
Oh yeah, they're all over YouTube.
Jam would be a great series.
We should have Slamball Sunday and pretend that this is like actual live sports.
I
We
would
should
do that.
absolutely do this.
I would definitely do that.
Slamball Sunday, and everybody gets in and we all pretend like it's a live, real game happening today.
Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you that should be an Olympic sport. That would certainly perk up a rating.
I'm impressed. Like you used to talk about Slamball. I'm trying to remember that thing that had like the kids on the bungee ropes. Remember those?
Or the Krang.
Yeah, like that. The Astro Crag or whatever. They'd like lift them up and they'd jump to do the dunk and they'd bungee cord back up or whatever,
Right.
And that kind of thing. And then no, this was cool. This is cool. Some guy got hurt. This is real. All right.
This is real. I wasn't paying attention till I saw the guy go down, and I was like, "Oh shit!" This
As
is
soon as someone was injured, I was like, "Oh hell yeah, let's do this."
Hell yeah. He took out DVDs. I fucking love it.
It's not
so
a NASCAR race until somebody's
some
on the
medic with
roof.
like a first aid bag was like, "I waited my whole life for this."
Like, this guy's like, I specifically
I'm
studied to
telling you.
treat trampoline-based wounds.
There needs to be a medical consortium that sponsors this event. Like
Roslyn Capital.
Yeah.
While you're
Kaiser
enjoying
Permanente.
Slamball,
Kaiser Permanente brought you Slamball.
I'm William Devane. Yeah. It'll literally never get old. The guy from shit, I'm gonna blank on that movie now. Rolling
Doesn't
Thunder.
he sell
There we go.
gold now? Doesn't he sell like gold or something?
Yeah, no, that was the Roslyn Capital thing.
yeah,
Oh,
Man.
Jesus Christ. Come on, man.
Roslyn Capital. Gold is the best security against the downturn of the market. As the dollar becomes weaker, gold becomes stronger.
I'm surprised he hasn't
Roslyn
done reverse
Capital.
mortgages.
It's like if you had a dad that did anything near Fox News at all, Roslyn Capital came on every commercial. They had no other sponsor. It was Roslyn Capital, and that was it.
The thing is though that we know that the type of company is going to sponsor Slam Dance or whatever this was.
Chance.
Right?
Slamball?
Slamball.
And
Slam dance.
Well, the company is going to
That's
sponsor
something
that.
completely
Is the, same,
different.
the credit company that does it. Oh, if you need a cash advancement, then I need cash now. Gee, Wentworth.
You know, actually, you could do slam dance during the halftime.
Just
Oh, yeah.
That's what the cheerleaders are doing.
That's right. You put an extra trampoline in the middle, and everybody meets in the middle, and they do their weird little patty cake thing, and then they go to their sides. It's great.
But you can't put a camera there. You have to have it, go.
They all do
drones now.
They all do backbreakers on each other.
They'll go into the tramp. That's the thing.
And then in the third quarter, the Young Bucks will come out and have a match.
You can't have two tramps in the tramp at the same time. It's a rule. I can't believe they abbreviated tramp and just expected nothing bad. We gotta do this. Slamball Saturday, whatever. We gotta make Slamball happen. We're bringing Slamball back, boys.
Although I don't know if we could actually do it, Cider. I mean, there are about 2 or 3 of us that are relatively short. Even with a tramp, that high.
Am I the tallest? I'm curious. Am I the tallest man here?
I'm 5'7".
Okay,
I'm 5'7".
Yeah.
I thought we were 5'11", Rob.
He's been working out.
If I was, why would I ever admit to being 5'11"?
Exactly.
Right?
No, I'm actually.
The greatest thing about being 5'11" is that you can lie and tell people you're 6 feet. They won't call you out on it.
Never know.
Exactly.
No, I am like 6 foot. I'm just not quite 6'1", but I'm a little bit over 6 foot.
Yeah.
I slouch.
That's okay. We're short.
Well,
no.
This was a fun show. We had fun and stuff. I think, right? Fun.
Yeah.
How could you not have fun with tramps? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Slamming tramps.
Oh,
That's
it's
a
tramping
right
time.
there.
That's the slogan, guys. We're gonna put it right on the thumbnail. It's tramping time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, tramping time.
Yes.
Oh, we'll sell the advertising space as the tramp stamp.
There it is. There's the T-shirt line, Jacob. There's the T-shirt line.
It's a wonder how this sport has failed so many times in the last 20 years.
Let's do it again, baby.
They're advertising to the wrong people. They're advertising to people with jobs and with like families and with lives.
This is supposed to be like the whole point of like things like ESPN2 is for bullshit sports like this. It's like this arena football, like dart
esports.
Go on, roller jam.
Wouldn't have this been better on the Ocho?
Probably.
That should have been like the whole point of.
I can't believe that they removed the Nashville network for this. I personally would have preferred seeing Minnie Pearl, doing the tramp.
But wait. If we make Slamball Saturday work, right, and it takes off, we could probably get the players that played this to come on and talk about like what the hell was going on, what training for this was like. How do you guys?
Assuming they're still alive.
That's true. There could have been a horrible tramp accident. And they all died.
Just search online for Slamball injuries. I'm pretty sure you'll find something horrific.
Slamball injury compilation.
Exactly.
They took it to the streets.
Oh, darts! Yeah, this is hilarious. Ladies will react.
What's amazing is people will get passionate over anything. People will find a great passion.
What do you think you are, I am?
Who do you think I am?
They're both walking like
going
they're
to Disney World.
They're both walking like they're piss drunk. Is that part of the competition?
Yes.
That's literally how darts got created.
No,
they're drunk guys in a bar.
Yeah, they're Irish. They just walk like that.
One of them was Scottish, the other was English. Do you not know your not America flags?
They're all white to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're all white and somewhere in the forest. That's all I know about
Best
this
flag of all time.
A cat here is going to teach us darts.
Yep.
Misses, does the other man get? I've never seen the like.
Come on, Fat Sargon.
Yes, double 12. That is the most amazing
It's the announcer that fascinates me about all of them are passionate. Even at
What am I looking at?
They want to replace these people?
They spray the crowd with like gay bomb? Get them excited like this? What happened?
It's just darts, baby.
I've been in the bar where people are playing darts. Nobody is that excited about it. Not even the people playing.
This is
Like, I don't understand darts. Is red good?
They don't even pop like that in pro wrestling anymore.
So wait.
This is why we left this. This is why we left this country 300 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You got me, Eddie. Yeah. I was just thinking, like, so this is exclusive to England. Then Eddie, of course, pops up and says, "This is why our ancestors left." I'm like, my blood felt that.
Yeah.
My blood felt that.
Well, you're in Maine. You're closest to our ancestors.
Oh yeah, and my bloodline's stupid old. So yeah.
And then we were like, cricket. We'll show them. We're gonna create baseball.
Yeah, we were like, what if we threw the ball
less exciting.
overhand? And the British were like, fuck.
Okay, so you don't need much athletic skill. You can be drunk, and you get to be loud or celebrated for what you're doing. Sounds pretty good.
British sport.
Yeah.
Can we
you don't have to know shit, Mike. You just have to throw shit.
In first place is $250,000.
Can we get the guys with the darts to do the slam ball? I'd like to
that'd
see
be great.
I don't know. That seems like you're just asking for trouble. A trampoline and darts. Like,
I can't remember if it's actually a thing. Like still, but Russia has like a lot of these kinds of sports, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the slap competition is the best one. That's
right, but there's also one. It's just like basketball, but it's a combination of basketball and like amateur wrestling, and they go out there in leotards and everything, and they tumble around, but also play basketball at the same time.
Yeah. I thought you were going to
say.
And
I bet
just real quick, the final prize for first place in the 2025 Dart Championship is actually 500,000 pounds.
Wow,
that's how much they make. So
what's the conversion rate?
It's like $1.3 million.
Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the pound is because they divorced from the euro. The pound is about like it's like $1.20 more than dollar.
It's the equivalent to $680,000 American.
Yeah, okay, so it wasn't 1.2.
Well, I was in 2008 prices.
That's fine. But yeah, that was Slamball, and I am thoroughly impressed with Slamball. I want to see more of it. I want to make it a regular thing. I want to make merch about it. I want to treat it like it's a real happening right now thing and confuse people everywhere.
Somebody needs to make a Slamball anime right now.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm on it.
All right.
That'll be the intro. We'll make an anime intro for Slamball. That'll be Slamball Saturday.
We need to organize a Slamball leagues around the country, and then have it be to where we have slam balls in every state, and then have an actual national championship.
I think high schools should have this as well. There should be high school slam ball championship.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, junior Pee-wee slam ball. Okay.
So,
slam ball.
You guys promoting the same structure as basketball, where they have 7 months of playoffs?
No, year round, baby. We got so many teams. We got to do year round with this. There's no off season.
The regular season is 5 months, and then the playoffs is the remaining 7.
Every month is a championship match.
Yeah, that's it. It's the finals every day.
You've got the city championships, and then you've got the state championships, and then you've got the national championships. So, and then you have to do it by regions, like the South, Pacific Northwest.
Oh man, okay, so I'm going to join this because this will bring me back to my wrestling territory days. This is fantastic.
This is the longest I have ever talked about sports in my life. This is the longest I have ever talked about sports.
Okay. Oh look, real quick here. This is what Slamball looks like in 2025. The Rumble are apparently still a thing.
Oh, it is still going.
It's still a thing.
Hell yes. Hell yes!
So this is what 2025 Slamball looks like.
I see the tank coming. I see the tank coming.
Looks more professional.
Oh yes!
Look, they have color.
That's Slamball, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to know that the Rumble are still around.
Yes.
This is the 5th attempt to revive Slamball. They've ceased operations 4 separate times.
It's a difficult game, but
I'm ready. 03, 08, 2012, and 2016. This one's been going on since 2023.
I'm ready to cash in on number 5.
Can't do that. Once they leave their feet,
5th time's the charm.
That's a foul.
That's right,
Oh
baby.
yeah, let's
Rumble
hope.
already had one.
Why they look like they're wearing
Now it's
turtle
Darius'
hands.
time to try to get it back.
They're wearing like pads now, so they can't like uppercut each other like they back in the day.
Yeah, he beat him to the punch.
Yeah.
You gotta
Well, look at that. They do have sponsorships now.
Williams going against Simpson
They
of
have
the mob.
actual
Here we go.
arenas.
Oh, yes.
Delicious.
His helmet came off.
That's what we're gonna see. Straight.
Okay, we need to end the show. We're never going to get out of here.
Dude,
Yeah, I know,
wanna
right?
go-
Slamball forever.
Okay, just because of this, I want a tactical do-rag. That looks awesome.
Tactical do-rag. Yes.
Yeah.
Just be careful where you say Allahu Akbar while you wear that, okay?
Oh yeah.
Eddie Brock on a Slamball court wearing a do-rag with
Hell
with a code name Freight Train.
Yep.
And he's headed to the tramp, baby.
I just slam it down. Can't look at the camera. Can't block the Brock.
Yes. He's gone center tramp.
Just Eddie doing like the LeBron, Dwayne Wade alley-oop just in midair.
Tongue hanging out.
I would totally like 3 months into my thing though. I totally turned into LeBron, just start flopping for no reason, just so I could do the bouncy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Brock, you all right? Yeah. I just got bored.
I'm cool.
Well,
I need a nap.
Inner 12-year-old.
No. You could do what they do with children after hockey games. You know how they open it up and then you can ice skate there. We could do the same thing here with the slam dance or the slam ball.
You know, people are going to ruin it, right?
Yeah. Everybody through the door has to sign a waiver that we're not responsible for them dying.
We're bringing down the fatigue here.
Somebody's gonna ask us to do a Pride Month, and this is gonna ruin the whole thing.
That's it right there.
Although we can actually say we're going to slam it to Pride.
You know, slam.
But
Slam ball.
you are going to get a women's league, and that might be successful.
Slamball might actually be funny with
Possibly.
the trans team. That might actually be pretty fucking funny. Okay, that might be pretty funny with a trans team.
There's a bunch of trans men with helmets on their heads.
Right, colliding in midair. You know,
I don't know if this is exploitative or entertaining, but I'm in.
exactly. Jeff Bezos is like, more money. Amazon presents Slamball.
They're just called the trans.
The trans are in the tramps. The trans are in the tramps.
Well, hell, maybe
They're
Slamball
known
might
as the
actually work
Trans
this
Ams.
time if they can
That's
actually
their-
get
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to TW. What do you got coming up? Wrestling needs to die.
Yes, it does as a subject. So it never has to be talked about again. But yeah, seriously, man, I right now I got to figure that out as to what I got coming up. I guess I could stick with the wrestling begrudgingly. I mean, gaming's not really so much in a good spot either, but at least there's retro games I can enjoy talking about. But right now I might have like I might be doing more reviews on music, more Seinfeld reviews. There's a bunch of stuff, and I got like a sort of hip hop series kind of coming up, so that should be fun. But it'll take a long time for that one because obviously that's going to be a lot of work and a lot of editing. But yeah, and I also have a Rumble, but I haven't posted anything on that yet. But
all right, Eddie, what do you got coming up?
What do I have coming up? I got a new computer. It's like a laptop. Ooh. And so now I'm actually able to stream like correctly without everything falling apart on me. And I tried it last night and it worked and I was so happy. And so now I can officially stream on the internet and have like an actual channel and everything now without me pulling my hair out. So
good. You have a lot of hair.
I know. I literally was losing enough of it because I was just like so stressed over this. So I'm so happy. I'm happy it's over.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start streaming a lot more. And I practiced the other day with a bunch of Judge Judy episodes because they have a crush on her granddaughter. So
wait, what?
Judge Judy's granddaughter. She's like 28 or something, but she's cute.
Okay.
She has like that weird pudgy. She looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy a little bit. Anyway, so I was watching. Well, I mean, for a fat dude, the Pillsbury Doughboy is like.
Yeah, that's comfort. That's comfort.
Just because I like the chunky monkey doesn't mean. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to be streaming a lot more, and I'm happy about that. I might advertise that next week. So, thank you.
Nice.
Rick.
I've got more reviews coming up. I've just tortured myself by watching all 3 TV movies about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I don't know why I suffered through all this. And I'm still working through my Best Actress retrospective. I will be having more reviews, preparing for Summer Under the Stars next month, the Plaza Film Festival in a couple of weeks, and yep, more reviews, including upcoming reviews on Jurassic World and Superman. That should be also coming down this way. So that, and I'm going to be training for Slamball. I'm going to finally join the league.
Tricky Rick.
I'm going to jump into the tramps. I'm going to jump into the tramps.
All right, Cider.
I don't want to join the league. I just want to watch the old episodes and pretend that they're actually happening, confuse the hell out of everybody. And I'm already trying to build a logo for it. So, I over here on Bounding into Comics, though, we do stuff. There's an Untitled Nostalgia show that Jacob likes to torture me with. Well, he did this last episode anyway, where I was forced to sit through Degrassi. If you were here at the beginning, you heard our conversation about how Degrassi's Rick shot his dick off and died. That was basically the only thing I remember about that whole experience, is that there was a school shooter who shot his dick off and died.
You don't remember the dude who made out with his own sister? You don't remember that one? That was a good
one. Yeah, that was the tier list where, like, if you're gay, you're trash, but if you make out with your sister, you're mid.
or if you bully a kid into suicide, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're A tier.
All those things sound completely Canadian to me.
Yeah, right. That was a very Canadian episode. We probably won't do that ever again. So, please tune in. We're going to discover more amazing things that happened while I wasn't paying attention in the world and presumably living in a tree. And also, I made a video about Superman over on Bounding into Comics. He's not an immigrant. Find out why. The truth may break your mind.
Oh, he's not an immigrant, guys.
He's not an immigrant. No.
Speaking of not an immigrant, Rob, what's going on?
Yes, my ancestors came here a couple of generations ago. No, I don't have too much going on right now. I'm at a pretty good spot in my personal life, which is, take the win when you got it. So my life's going well. Superman's coming out on, I don't know, the next couple of days. I will probably do one of my little Twitter X podcast reviews of it when I get home on Friday. We'll see. James Gunn. Don't have too much hope for that, but just follow me over my Twitter. I watch as many movies as I can every week. Football is coming in 2 months, so I'm really looking forward to that. But until then, it's just going to be movies, and we'll see you next week.
Letting you guys know what I got coming up here. So, like I said, whole bunch of movie reviews coming out on the mix. I still have a couple more that I need to edit. So, yeah, I have a lot of catching up to do. But there'll be a lot of movies over the course of the next few weeks. What else do we got coming up here? On Saturday, we'll be back with Cider on the Nostalgia Show. We'll be talking about MTV Spring Break during that time period, so won't be as Canadian as it was last week, but go check out last week's show. Sunday, we got the Bible Lens. We're talking about the Islamic invasion of the entire world, I guess we can say that. And then, next Tuesday, we'll be back over here, same time, same place. So for everyone who joined us on tonight's show, thank you very much for joining us here. Exactly. Now everyone's addicted to Slamball now, so this whole episode may have been a mistake. But until then, thank you guys for joining us here.
Awesome.
We'll go ahead and hit the outro and get on out of here. Adios, goodbye, and good night.
Slamball.
Okay.
Making your way through the daily grind takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to tune away? All those nights when you're feeling low, the rent is overdue, and your coffee maker's broken, your luck just seems to skew, and your boss is always on your case. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. Roll out of bed and you feel the dread. The morning's looking bleak, the morning's and your internet is down again. You haven't slept all week, and your car just broke down on the way. Be glad there's a place online where you can feel at ease. In the Barroom Podcast, friends, we share our thoughts and tease. Every story shared, every laugh so free. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. So here's to the moments we all hold dear, in this barroom of the airways with friends so near. Every story shared, every heartfelt cheer. It's more than just a podcast, it's where we steer.
I still don't feel like I know how to shoot these things.